It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. Now on ESPN 620, 98.7 FM HD-2, and streaming live at ArizonaSports.com. The guys are powered by the law offices of Lerner and Rowe. In a wreck and need a check? Make one call, that's all. 602-977-1900. And now on your ESPN station in Phoenix, ESPN 620, Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B.
Well, the Diamondbacks wave the surrendering white flag. The Cardinals training camp hit with injuries. Who in the wide world of sport is that baseball writer who did not vote for Ichiro into the Hall of Fame? And the movie Happy Gilmore 2 is... Welcome in, everybody. Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. ESPN 620, 98.7 FM, HD2. We are sequestered nicely here in the studio and a cast of thousands behind the glass today, making sure that I don't screw up. So they got a big job ahead of them. Manuch, how are you?
I'm doing good. Good weekend. Didn't quite get to 125 over the weekend,
no,
but
nice.
I got to say anything between 105 to 110, I'm good.
Yeah.
Get the cold towel out there for the quarterbacks,
Manuch,
the young
you
guys.
have a hat that the guys bought you that has fans in it.
Well, here's it is. I got a brand new hat, not a sombrero, that my kids got me. I went up to Denver, as you remember.
Yep.
Visited the kids and the grandkids. And my lovely daughter and son, Landon Daniel and Nethery Ann, got me a hat that's got fans on the bad boy.
It's amazing.
You charge them up, you turn them on, and they can run on the back of your neck or the front of your face. It's interchangeable. So you can go in front, behind, and I put some water on your neck, your face. It cools you down. Now, here's the other thing.
Okay.
It can be solar powered as well, too.
What?
It's got two mini solar.
Does it have windmills? Because they're trying to get rid of all the windmills.
Well, they haven't gotten that technology yet.
Okay, good.
So they got the two solar panels, little mini panels, that if you run out of juice, and it'll run on its own if you run out of juice. So I do have to charge it up after getting 7-8 hours of use.
Okay.
What a great invention. So my kids, they found it. My daughter saw it on TikTok. She said, Dad, you need a new hat. How about something that'll cool you down when it's 195 degrees out there? And lo and behold, it is great. It covers my face. It covers my shoulders. So if you want to go to check it out, just go to @Roc and Manuch and Jimmy B or @Roc and Manuch on Twitter, or just go to my Facebook page at Dan Manuch. You'll see the fine hat that a lot of folks are going to.
It's a conversation piece.
It sans the sombrero. I got fans to help keep me cool when it's 100+ out there.
So let us go to something right at the top, which is near and dear to your heart. That is the NFL. Manuch, what is going on here in the Valley? First, it was the Suns' injuries to Durant and Beal, followed by the Diamondbacks' injuries to pitcher after pitcher, and then even a couple of everyday players. Now, in training camp, you have lost 2 defensive backs for the entire year. What is happening?
Well, Starling Thomas V got an ACL injury.
Yep.
Sean Murphy-Bunting never made training camp, Jimmy.
Right.
He was he's gone the rest of the year. I don't know what the situation was. He never really came out. Connor, if you're paying attention back there, hey, just real quick, Connor, if you're get your pop on the mic real quick. I want to see, is anybody found out the deal with Sean Murphy-Bunting and why he's not going to play this year? Anybody?
Not that I've known. I think it still hasn't come out yet, as far as I'm concerned.
Okay, so there's 2 starting corners right there.
Right, exactly.
Okay, so now looks like you may have a rookie at starter. So Will Johnson will probably be, for now, he's penned in as a starting corner.
He's got to be, yeah.
That's going to be something. And then on the other side, you look at Melton. Max Melton will be the other starting corner as of for now in the second year. So I got to tell you what, that's tall task for Will Johnson if he's going to be the starting corner.
Mm-hmm.
And then also you got Jalen Jones is also hurt. Also a cornerback that's a young man that they're looking to. So I don't know. It's just interesting without donning the pads. Like today will be the first official day of pads. They were in shells yesterday. So yeah, it's just very, very unfortunate that you have your 2 starting cornerbacks, which I think could be a problem. And I think for Nick Rawlis as the defensive coordinator to really put more on this front 7 to put pressure on the quarterback and stop the run game to protect those 2 young guys. Now, Melton played quite a bit last year, so I think he's he's feeling pretty confident in reference to being that one starting corner at the right cornerback.
Manuch, you and Roc have been on the air here 20 years. Do you remember, or can you? I mean, I know it's a long time and your brains are fried, but can you remember at all the rash of injuries that have happened to all three of the professional teams?
Well, and let's think about, last year. We look at Darius Robinson with the calf injury.
Yeah, that's right.
Walter Nolan III,
yeah,
calf injury.
Yeah.
Got an ACL. Got a couple guys dinged. It is, to me, before camp in reference to Nolan III, that just amazes me, these calf injuries. Why guys, if they're not stretching or the explosiveness, I don't understand. I liken it to the NBA with the Achilles injuries.
Yep.
We've seen 3 or 4 major.
But they start with a calf injury.
Yes.
And then they come back too soon.
Yeah, and that typically happens. And then I think of, some of the other major injuries in different sports, or the Tommy John in Major League Baseball. There seems to be a theme of something. Either guys are overtraining, they're not stretching. Major League Baseball, everybody's throwing too hard, too fast, too young. Versus pitching, everybody's trying to bring the heat.
Okay.
So there's a particular injury in the different sports, and you just kind of go, why? And the calf injuries for Nolan III last year with Darius Robinson. This year it's unfortunate with Starling Thomas V to have the ACL.
Right. Is it something in the water in the valley?
No,
because it hit the Suns, then it hit the Diamondbacks. Now it's hitting the Cardinals.
I just think it's unfortunate, and that's why I think for these general managers, you and I talk about depth all the time.
Yes.
And I will say this, I think that Monty Ossenfort's done a good job as reference to depth for this Arizona Cardinals team. So when you look at, the depth as far as the cornerback position, now Jalen Jones is a backup. Now his injury, time will tell, he should be back. But the slot with Garrett Williams at the slot, so Jalen Thompson, Buda Baker, your safeties. But then you kind of look across in reference to the cornerback positions that you see. Denzel Burke, the rookie, the young man that played at Brophy High School several years ago. He's coming out. He'll be a rookie. So you got a second-year guy and then a rookie on the right side. And then if I look at the left corner, you got Will Johnson, a rookie, and a Jalen Jones, who's a young guy as well, too. So Sean Murphy-Bunting out for whatever reason is. And it's interesting that we don't know. But those key positions as far as, okay.
Well, it was a knee injury. So it was a knee injury. We just weren't sure how he sustained it. If it was something that he did in the offseason, if it was a lifting or something. But he did say that he had to get a knee surgery done.
So let's clarify the knee injury. Why were they so protective about that information?
I'm not too sure. It could just come down to, I know sometimes these teams don't like to let details get out a little bit too soon just because they like the gamesmanship. Maybe he comes back, maybe he doesn't. But yeah, from what I've heard, essentially it was the knee injury.
So it was an off-season knee injury that he had.
Yeah.
Outside the facility. Yeah, I got to tell you what, it's, depth is everything. So hopefully guys can fill in. But again, that's pressure at the corners. And teams are very well aware who's at those cornerback spots.
Yeah, they know.
In our pregame reports, we meet on Wednesday. We would go over the defense.
Sure.
When I was in Buffalo. And you looked at who are the corners, safeties, years of experience. You pretty much had down pat where the young guys were.
Mm-hmm.
And when you lose a young guy in a team that you're hoping, I should say, an experienced player, I think Max Melton is taking that next step as a second-year guy.
Okay.
But I think that'll help a lot. But when you put a pure rookie like Will Johnson to that side, teams will be very aware of that. So I think overall, I guess fortunate to happen now. But to your point, Jimmy, it's very unfortunate. It's like the dark cloud continues.
Over the valley.
Over the Arizona. Yeah, you can see over the valley now.
Yeah.
Arizona Cardinals.
Yep.
Phoenix Suns.
Yep.
Look at the Diamondbacks.
I know. That's what I'm saying. That's why I asked, is it in the water? That brings us then to our State 48 roofing question of the day. State 48, the number one roofer in the state, residential and commercial markets for over a decade, and for a free quote repair or installation. Just head to state48roofing.com and follow them on social media by searching #sexy roof status. Here's the question. How concerned are you now that the Cardinals' two starting cornerbacks, Starling Thomas, Sean Murphy-Bunting, are out for the year? You have three options. 1, highly concerned. 2, slightly concerned. 3, not concerned at all. Just go online at Roc and Manuch. Cast your vote. We'll update throughout the show. Manuch, where did you go?
I'm leaning more toward highly concerned.
I am too.
I really am.
Yeah.
I see that. And you have a couple guys that are really stalwarts. As I mentioned, Max Melton looking to pick up the slack on the left side. Starling Thomas would have been your right guy. That experience, that playing time, that reps matters. And sometimes the best antidote for covering a corner up or helping cornerbacks out or them becoming good corners is the pass rush to basically put on that quarterback or push the pocket in that quarterback's face. So those guys have a chance. But anytime you get to 3 apple, 4 apple, but an offensive line blocking those front guys.
One Mississippi.
Oh, exactly. It exposes the young guys. And I'm not so much concerned about Melton. I'm really not.
Okay.
But I think with Will Johnson, the young man out of Michigan, as a rookie, it's a whole different game. It's a whole nother 2 gears versus a gear. So it's like him going when he went from high school to college and then from college to pro. So if, say college is 3rd or 4th gear, the professional game or speed of the game is like 7th gear. I mean, that's how quick and that's how much you have to respond. And on top of that, having to learn the defense, having to learn the calls. So basically Starling Thomas V knew the calls. Melton does know the calls. And when you see those kind of things happen, and Murphy Bunting knew the calls. So when you have to stop thinking and you can react, that it really helps anybody on defense out.
So the situation for the Diamondbacks, dreadful in Pittsburgh. Manuch will have a stat in our next segment, which will just blow the doors off of your car. Trust me. It is our replay rewind. It is coming up next, everybody. We are just getting underway. Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B right here. ESPN 620, 98.7 FM HD2. All right, folks, here we go. 3rd and long, and your old underwear just got blitzed again. Sweaty, bunched up, riding high. That's a wardrobe malfunction, and you cannot coach through that. But hold everything. Chill Boys enters the game. Cool, breathable bamboo boxers. Smooth as a perfectly executed 2-minute drill. I slipped on a pair and bam, total comfort in the pocket, even in the Arizona heat. I've called a lot of clutch performances in my day, and I'm calling it right now. Chill Boys is the MVP of underwear. We've all made the switch here at ESPN 620, and trust me, you should too. Head to chillboys.com, use code ESPN, and get 20% off your first order. That's chillboys.com. Folks, this is a game changer. You cannot afford to fumble.
The Arizona heat is brutal, but your golf game doesn't have to suffer. Swing Shift Golf Club is your air-conditioned escape, open 24/7 with top-tier simulators and 0 sunscreen required. And let's be honest, no other indoor golf spot even comes close. Swing Shift is absolutely stunning. It's modern, spotless, and designed to impress. Leagues ahead of the competition. Memberships start at just $129 a month. Cool off, tee off. Only at Swing Shift Golf in Scottsdale. Join now at theswingshift.golf.
Now open in North Scottsdale, it's the Orangedale Lounge. OD's, right off Thompson Peak and Bell, next to Bash's. Your new favorite dive bar has arrived. Cold drafts, chill vibes, always affordable prices, and the OD Mug Club, a one-of-a-kind membership you won't find anywhere else. No frills, just great people, ice-cold drinks, and a bar that feels like it's always been there. Follow at OD Scottsdale and get the scoop at orangedalelounge.com. Orangedale Lounge. Dive in and drink up.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
Turner and Rope is the way to go.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
Turner and Rope is the way to go.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
Turner and Rope is the way to go.
I'm Attorney Kevin Rowe. Being in an auto accident is traumatic. You need to call the best law firm that has the experience to get you the best results. Call 977-1900. That's 977-1900.
Turner and Rope is the way to go. Call 977-1900. 977-1900.
When hot is not an option, Stay Cool delivers. From patios to warehouses, shops to summer events, Stay Cool's Slim Cool Elite and Cool Cube mobile air coolers bring more air for less money. Rust-free, USA built, backed by over 40 years of cooling expertise. Available now at Home Depot, Lowe's, Ace Hardware, Tractor Supply, and Northern Tool. For more information, go to staycool-products.com. Stay Cool products. Form, function, value. Get yours today and beat the heat.
And now, an on-air sports. Now, it's time for our Replay Rewind. The top sounds of the night and whatever Rock decides to add. Let's get to it in Replay Rewind with Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B on ESPN 620 and on FM at 98.7 HD-2.
The 2-2. Can swings and misses, and the ball game is over. The D-backs drop 2 of 3 in Pittsburgh. They score 1 run in the series, losing the finale today 6-0.
Did I just hear that, White? 1 run is all they scored in the series. Thank you to Arizona Sports for the highlight. By the way, the reliever, Majewski, struck out the side in the top half of the 9th, and when he came in the 8th, had another strikeout there as well. Welcome back in, everybody. Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. Hanging out today until 4 o'clock. Manuch, you are our stat boy, and you have stats, and I can't wait to hear the first one.
You know, a lot of folks, Roc's always on me, you're in this stats. I said, stats tell the story. They really do. Now, it's exceptional if they don't. I mean, you can go 0 forever and win a game with a home run, that type of thing. The one thing that just stuck out with me, and I that light last night, I'm going, you know what? You score 1 run. You score 1 run. You got your seatbelt on over there?
Okay, I'm sitting down.
Hands at 10 and 2.
Yeah,
you score 1 run.
Yeah.
In 29 innings.
What?
Versus the Pittsburgh Pirates.
What was that again?
Yeah, 1 run in 29 innings versus the Pittsburgh Pirates. Now, if it was the Yankees or the Guardians or the Dodgers, okay, they pretty much shut you down. Now, Skeens shut him down yesterday big time. He did. So I went back and I said, okay, I'm going to go through the series, and I'm going to see something that might build the story. Okay, you ready over there, Jimmy B?
I'm sitting down, brother.
Okay, so on Friday, runners in scoring position, even though they won 1-0 in 11 innings, right?
Right. Yes.
0 for 9. Okay, runners left on base. There's 9. Okay, they win with the home run, with the 1 run, not the home run, but the base hit.
Yeah.
Saturday, not too bad. There's 0 for 1 in runners in scoring position. Well, you leave 6 on base. It was a tight game.
Okay.
Good pitchers duel that happened. Then yesterday, they're 0 for 9, and they left 7 runners left on base. So when I do the K-State math, runners in scoring position over the weekend, 0 for 19. Okay, left on base, 22 runners stranded on base, 1 run in 29 innings. So I can basically give you those stats, and you could probably ballpark how many runs that they probably scored, right? 1 run against the Pittsburgh Pirates. Well, they have maybe, 50 people in the stands after it's all said and done. I mean, that's cumulative over the 3 games. I'm facetious there.
I know.
So
it's tragic. It really is. It really is tragic. And look, we knew it was coming. They were backed into a corner with all of the injuries, meaning the D-backs, and they have to unload players, and they have no choice but to do so. My question to you before we get to our replay rewind, with the way that Zach Gallen has been going and the Snakes hoping to get something profitable from the trade of Zach Gallen, do you think now that teams are really going to lowball because Gallen is stinking up the joint?
Well, that's a good point, because I think that every time he goes out, he loses value. He goes 6 innings, gave up 5 hits, the 4 runs, all earned. Had the 5 Ks, but I got to tell you, his 5.60 ERA, that makes a lot of general managers nervous. But I think what the point you're getting at, Jimmy B, is that, hey, look, about a month ago when we thought he found it, well, he's lost it again, and he's just too inconsistent.
Found it.
So when a general manager looks at that going, hey, look, we would love to go get Zach Gallen, but we're not going to give you a king's ransom because this guy's too inconsistent.
Correct.
Now, we'll give you some solid players, some more arms, maybe a couple prospects or a prospect or 2. But right now, every time he takes the bump, he's losing value as far as a trade partner is concerned. It's unfortunate that he just seems to not be able to found it. Currently 7-12 on the year. And this guy was supposed to be your ace before Burns got signed. Technically did start the year as your ace. So I just feel it's some kind of a mechanical flaw, or the forward scouting that's going to these teams is catching up to him in reference to his pitches.
All right, so let's go then to the replay rewind. Here it is. After the weekend that was lost in Pittsburgh, here's the skipper on offensive problems.
Hard to go through what we're going through right now, right? It's 27 innings, scoring one run, or more than that, probably 29 innings, scoring one run, and we know that we're more capable than that. It's 13 strikeouts and one walk. We got to be able to control counts, get on base in a more dynamic way, and drive baseballs all over the baseball field. But we're a little bit of a grind right now, and those were 2 or 3 examples there where I feel like if we'd scored some early runs, things might have been a little different. You only have a couple of opportunities against a quality pitcher like Skeens, and he did his job, and we didn't.
So you take a look at the lineup. Corbin Carroll strikes out twice. Perdomo once. Suarez twice. Del Castillo twice. McCann 3 times.
Right.
And you go through, you got 13 strikeouts to that lineup. And only 1 walk. So, again, we talked about in the 1-0 game, 11 innings, they were very quality at-bats. And we saw St. Louis, quality at-bats. Houston, they were quite there, but they still got swept, right? But again, I think it's just a quality of at-bats and just not driving the ball. As I mentioned, not driving the ball in clutch situations.
All right, so we just had a discussion about Zach Gallen. Here's Torrey.
You talk about opportunities. It looked like they capitalized on a couple of theirs. It was, I think, a leadoff walk followed by the stolen base, long single in left center field. I thought we played a little confused on that play. And then the hit batter followed by, I think, what was a double. I can't remember exactly what it was. So however they got on early in the second and third inning, they capitalized. And for me, that was a difference. And a really good quality outing versus an outing where he gives up 4 runs. But I thought he was real efficient. He fought to stay in the game. I really liked that, but I felt like at 85 pitches in this seat, it was the right thing to do.
Jim, he talks about they got the clutch inning when they needed it.
Sure.
So you look at Pittsburgh, their runners in scoring position, they were 2 for 6. They only left 5 runners on, but they get the key hits is what he's alluding to when they get runners on. A couple mistakes here and there, and they get the key hits when they have to. And I think the other thing too is when you look at that, I mean, Cruz 2 for 3, 2 RBIs. He was smoking the baseball yesterday. He's only hitting 221, but some guys adhere to pitchers than others, right? So Merrill Kelly basically shut that lineup down, but they get the key hits, and that's I think the biggest thing with this Diamondback team, who were once in the top 5 for scoring runs.
They were.
And they were toward the top as far as clutch hitting. So if you look at it now, it's almost flipped. They're not scoring runs. They're in the bottom 5. And as far as clutch hitting is concerned, they're like the bottom 2 or 3 as far as clutch hits is concerned.
When we came into the studio today, one of the first things Manuch said to me was, can you believe it? They traded a guy in the middle of the game. He's in the dugout, and they traded him. Well, that's happened before, but your comment was quickly, well, there's no conscience anymore.
Is there no couth in Major League Baseball anymore?
No, there isn't. No conscience whatsoever. Here's the skipper on the trade in the middle of the dugout.
Thanked him for his effort, thanked him for his big moments. I thanked him for being patient with us. He wanted to play every day, but he had a role here, and he filled that role perfectly. He was a great teammate, and when he walked in that dugout to hold his head up high and say goodbye and understand that we'll meet again, everybody will be in the same place at the same time. That's how this game works.
So Grichuk gets traded. He gets 2 at-bats on Saturday.
Yep.
And you see it all happening there. He's grabbing his gear, grabbing everything. He's been traded to the Kansas City Royals. And the Royals, I believe, are playing a doubleheader against the Guardians. So I guess they got to get him there for the Sunday game in Kansas City against the Guardians. I'm sorry, it'll be against the Guardians. I forget who they're playing. So they get him for reliever Andrew Hoffman, right-handed pitcher.
Yeah.
He's a reliever that can crank it up there close to 98 to 100 miles an hour. I don't know. It just kind of struck me. I think of the second baseman a couple years ago. Help me out, guys.
Flores,
yeah, for the Mets.
Yes, for the Mets.
And he got traded. He goes out there, and they said, now, hold on, come on back.
Yeah,
very emotional. And I don't know. I just think that sometimes, can we not just wait till the end of the game?
The game's over?
Can we not have some decorum, some kind of class, some kind of integrity about seeing this happen? I mean, it's like, right there in front of everybody. and then moving on. By the way, Grichuk does get to Kansas City. They're taking on the Guardians. He gets it, goes 1 for 4.
Okay.
And in the 4-1 win for the Royals. So he gets over to KC and he makes it just in time. But isn't there any couth of decorum anymore to just wait till after the game? Poor guys saying goodbye in front of the world. And, nobody wants me anymore, so I'm getting traded.
Manuch, the phone has to be ringing off the hook, don't you think? So right now, you still have Kelly. You still have Gallen. You still have Suarez. So in your estimation, who's next?
Well, I think you just mentioned all of them. I think it'd be hard to fathom if you're going to do anybody else in reference to that. I mean, Marte, Perdomo.
They're getting calls on all those guys.
Yeah, matter of fact, let's fire that up. Let's talk on Marte as far as Hazen talking about offers about Marte.
So the contract guys are definitely taking up the majority, if not all, of our attention. I'm not going to shock you with this comment, but of the guys that Cattell, Corbin, Moreno, Perdomo, Fott, Nelson, like the younger group that's under long-term control, they're all calling me about them too. So it's just one of those things where you have to, in almost every conversation, what would you guys talk about these guys at all? And, if I say, depends on what you're talking about, it would be a haul. That usually shuts the conversations down pretty quickly.
Okay. So what he's saying is, okay, these guys, they're marketable, but I don't know, make me an offer I can't refuse,
Absolutely.
with all the others.
Yeah.
So it doesn't surprise me. We talked about, Rock and I talked about this Friday. I thought that the Perdomos of the world, the Carrolls, the Cattell Martes of the world would be off the market because you don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. Do you not? I mean, you got to have some semblance of a team, do you not? Unless you scrape it and rebuild from the get-go, in the next 2, 3, 4 years, you might have an semblance of a playoff team.
It's unbelievable. Bob Nightengale is going to be our guest, by the way, talking baseball in the second hour. He seems to think that Suarez might be on his way to Detroit. So we will ask that question of Bob when he comes up. The Replay Rewind presented today by Lerner & Rowe. In a wreck, need a check. Just make one call, 602-977-1900. Always at lernerandrowe.com. Once again, one call, that's all, 602-977-1900. Rudy Carpenter next up. NFL camps are in progress. We have a game coming up in just a couple of days, if you can imagine that. It is Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B hanging out today. ESPN 620, 98.7 FM HD2, and always at rocandmanuch.com. Right now, a Twin Peaks ESPN 620 update. Here we go.
It's now time for your Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B's Twin Peaks ESPN 620 update. I'm Matt Lazarus. The Diamondbacks dropped 2 or 3 in Pittsburgh over the weekend, pushing just 1 run across the plate in the entire series. They'll look to bounce back this afternoon as they open a 3-game set against the Tigers at Comerica Park in Detroit. First pitch is at 3:40, with pregame starting at 3 o'clock, and you can catch all the action on Arizona Sports 98.7 or streaming on the Arizona Sports app. Meanwhile, with Randall Grichuk traded to the Royals, who's the next D-back to move before Thursday's trade deadline? In tough break for the Cardinals, cornerback Starling Thomas is out for the season after tearing his ACL in training camp. The Summer Bikini Bash costume party is officially here. Cool off with your favorite Twin Peaks girls all week and celebrate with specials on our favorite shots, cans, cocktails, and martinis. Twin Peaks, eats, drinks, scenic views.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, your favorite drafts are poured at a frosty 29 degrees, and rare barrel-aged whiskeys are served just the way you want them. It's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Twin Peaks Scratch Kitchen scores every time. Dig into hand-smashed burgers, chef-inspired flatbreads, and more at your local lodge.
Beat the heat with AC Experts. Is your air conditioning ready for summer? Don't sweat it. Our certified technicians are here to keep your home cool and comfortable. From routine maintenance to emergency repairs, we've got you covered. Enjoy staycations in a perfectly chilled home. For a limited time, take advantage of our special discounts on new AC installations. Call AC Experts today at 480-386-6980 or visit acexpertsaz.com to schedule your appointment. Stay cool, Arizona.
At Vans Golf Shops by Worldwide Golf, the new Callaway X-Forged and X-Forged Max irons have arrived. The new forged irons feature single-piece forging for pure, responsive feedback and a tri-level sole for superior turf interaction. Swing by Vans Golf Shops to be the first to test drive the new Callaway X-Forged and X-Forged Max irons. Trusted by golfers since 1963 and home of the legendary 90-day satisfaction guarantee. Vans Golf Shops by Worldwide Golf. Get there.
Has your vehicle broke down or experienced other issues? If you've had repairs under warranty, your vehicle may qualify as a lemon under the Arizona Lemon Law. Hi, this is Henry with Hammer Law, Arizona's lemon law firm. We're here to help. Whether your vehicle has had multiple issues or it's just been in the shop forever, you have rights as a consumer. But these big companies don't care about the law, and they certainly don't care about you. They want you to just go away and deal with it. But the good news is you're not on your own. The law is on your side, and so am I. Arizona law allows you the right to hire an attorney for free and fight back. The law is there to protect you, but it only works if you take advantage of it. Don't get pushed around. Enforce your rights under the Arizona Lemon Law. Call Henry and drop the hammer. Call 480-480-1014 or check us out at hammerlemonlaw.com. That's hammerlemonlaw.com.
At a time when children are in crisis, the Kids Mental Health Foundation envisions a future where mental health is a vital part of growing up, and support starts with all of us. At home, at school, at practice, everywhere kids are. The Kids Mental Health Foundation is the leading organization promoting mental health for children in the U.S. and has free tools and information developed by experts.
Having those resources is the same as the CPR class to me. We're trying to save a life here.
Check out kidsmentalhealthfoundation.org to get started.
Here to talk football is former Sun Devil and NFL quarterback Rudy Carpenter, who went 3-0 against that team in Tucson.
Deep ball again by Rudy Carpenter. He reads it, it's zone coverage just behind the safety.
Rudy Carpenter now on Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B on ESPN 620.
Hey, everybody, welcome back in. We roll until 4 o'clock this afternoon on a hot day in the desert. Rudy Carpenter is our guest right now, and you can follow him on X at Rudy G Carp 12. That's at Rudy G Carp 12. Rudy, welcome as always. Let us begin with already injuries rearing its ugly head, and they've only had about 3 or 4 days of practice. I asked Manuch earlier, is it something in the water in the Phoenix area that makes all this happen? But here we are, once again, 2 defensive backs gone, and right now a defensive lineman, your top defensive lineman that you drafted, is also out for all of training camp. What is going on here?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. It's really hard to say what exactly the problem is, but I mean, it's devastating news for the Cardinals, right? Not just at key positions, but also with young guys who you're trying to develop. The only way those guys are going to develop is by getting the meeting time, the installation time, the practice time, and then getting a chance to play in the preseason. So, yeah, it's devastating for the Cardinals, but at the end of the day, this is something that, happens around the league, and we've seen all kinds of injuries around the league already.
And as Jimmy alluded to, when you lose a couple guys, Sean Murphy-Bunting also out, not even getting a training camp because sounded like a knee injury before the season starting Thomas the 5th. And then Jaden Davis, he's also out for now as one of the backups. In your eyes, Rudy, how vitally important is it to try to cover depth-wise and not have your 2 starting cornerbacks in there and have a projected rookie, Will Johnson, at one side, and then a second-year guy in Melton on the other?
Yeah, I mean, that's obviously a position that you would prefer to have some proven guys at. It's a position that you would love to, be able to have some veteran presence at. You've seen other guys around the NFL, whether it be, Jack Jones getting signed with the Miami Dolphins, whether it be Eli Apple getting signed in San Francisco, some of these other veteran DBs getting signed, and they get signed for that purpose because teams, really, really want to have some experience at that position. Because if you don't, it can really ruin a game. You're going to have to play against these very, very talented receivers. And when these other teams and these quarterbacks see there's an unproven guy, trying to guard one of the best players in the NFL at the receiver positions, they're going to attack that guy, and they're going to attack him over and over and over and over again until he can prove that he can cover. So, yeah, I mean, it's when you're a defensive back, especially a corner, it's a position that you can't just, throw somebody in there and hide. And I don't mean this in a negative way, but when you lose a defensive tackle or a defensive end sometimes, or even an inside linebacker, you can kind of hide those guys. But a corner is not a position that you can, hide. When they see somebody out there who's unproven, they're going to attack him, and it can really change the game.
So what kind of pressure for defensive coordinator Nick Rawls as the DC does that put on him to do exactly what you're saying, to try to help cover up those young guys? More cover two, more pressure on the quarterback. What do you see happening if both these two young guys are starting day one?
Well, yeah, I mean, at least for right now, there's no pressure on the defensive coordinator. They're going to install their defense. They're going to run their defense, and they're going to expect all their guys to be able to run every single scheme, within their defense. But without a doubt, if they go into the season with the same problems they're having right now at cornerback and having to play young guys or having to play inexperienced guys, there's no doubt they're going to have to find a way to protect them. So whether you're playing more, off zone coverage, whether you're playing more two-man cover two, whether you're blitzing less because you don't want to put these guys on an island. You're going to have to find ways to get these guys help and not just allow a quarterback to say, that's a one-on-one matchup. We believe we can beat that or exploit that one-on-one matchup every time, and let's just exploit it and go after it, because that's what they're going to do. So, yeah, without a doubt, they're going to have to find a way to give them help. Unfortunately, you only have 11 guys on the field, and they only have 11 guys on the field, and I just don't know how you can cover up, two guys at that corner position.
Rudy Carpenter's our guest on the Right Toyota guest line. Rudy, take me then to the camp itself. Officially, pads are on today. They did some shell work yesterday, but today it is full pads. With the collective bargaining agreement, do you like the way it is structured now? Or if there was something that you could change, what would that be?
It just depends who you're asking. I mean, as a player, I loved when we were only in shells or when we were not in pads. I hated, most guys hate that whole, pad thing. We feel like we don't need it. We feel like we know how to play football and we can practice without the pads and still have the same level of practice. Now, with that being said, I've also been a coach. And on the coaching side, you feel like you need to get the pads on because you need to see what you have from a physicality standpoint. You need to be able to have some periods that are live so you can condition the body a little bit to get hit and things of that nature. So, I mean, look, I just think it's one of those things. You ask the question, it depends who you ask. You ask a player, they're probably not huge fans of pads. You ask coaches, they want more padded practices. What I do know is that football is a really tough game. We're seeing more injuries now, especially soft tissue injuries than ever before. I think that has a lot to do with, how practices are run and how off-season training is gone. And so, to me, I think they ought to get back to a little bit more physicality in camp.
And I would say for a lot of the guys that are either free agents or rookies, that would make sense to be have a little more physicality. But how much can you actually accomplish anymore? Rudy, you represent several guys that can you get in 3 preseason games and feel a young guy gets at least some experience or reps, and then feel the older guys that are veterans get enough reps to knock the rust off?
Yeah, I think that, people don't put a lot of emphasis on the preseason games, including the coaches. And, the front office people. I just don't think they care. I think they believe the development's going to happen in the off season, and the development's going to happen during the actual practices. So, in the preseason, the starters don't get a ton of reps, and they allow the young guys to get reps. And, that is what it is. Unfortunately, people don't like to discuss it, but, it's a 53-man roster. And let's be honest, if you're going into training camp and you're going into these preseason games and you have more than 10 roster spots that are even truly open or up for grabs, you're probably going to have a bad team. I mean, let's be real. These guys know who, 45 to 48 of these guys are going to be on their team and who they're going to be. It's just a starter and a backup if you really do the math. So there aren't a lot of spots that are truly even open. And I think everybody knows that. And so, that's another reason why they don't feel like these guys need to play in preseason. They already know that who the vast majority of the roster is going to be. So they try to get these young guys who are probably not going to make the team a chance to put some stuff on film to give them a chance to either get picked up somewhere else or go on practice squad.
Rudy, third year with Jonathan Gannon, third year with the same offensive coordinator. So what would be your focus with Kyler Murray this training camp that might have been different the last two training camps under the same regime?
You said what's going to be different?
What would be the focus that might be different from the first 2 years going into this third year with this same coaching staff with Kyler?
I don't really know. I mean, look, if you're asking me personally, whether it was Kyler's first year in the NFL or this year in the NFL, he's had the same problems every year. Yes, I've been on this show a bunch and said, hey, I think they need to get better, with the talent level on their roster. Yes, I think they need to get better at the skill positions and get better on the offensive line. And as what was reported recently, he's had one of the worst defenses throughout his 7 years of being in the NFL. But at the end of the day, when you watch Kyler on film, he misses a lot of easy reads and easy throws. And he does it a lot and over and over and over again. And in my viewpoint, a big reason why he does that is because he's always trying to look for a bigger play. He's always trying to hit the home run. And I can't really blame him when you play on a team that you feel like is talent-wise less superior, or when you feel like your defense may not be able to get a stop. You feel like you got to go out there and score on every possession. But to me, when you watch the film, it's a lot of simple execution issues. And Kyler's the only one who can really fix that. He's got to take what the defense gives him. He's got to put the ball in play, and he's got to trust his guys around him to be able to make plays once the ball's in their hands.
Rudy, right now in the Valley, it's 628 degrees. Doesn't feel really like football weather. However, there is football in just a couple of days. It's the Lions and the Chargers, the Hall of Fame game. Will we see any of the starters for a series, or is this all going to be backups and rookies?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I would imagine for the Lions, it's probably going to be that, but I mean, with Jim Harbaugh and the Chargers, you never know what Jim's going to do. And I could see a situation in which Jim plays some of his guys to see what they can do.
It's always great, pal, when you come on the show. We always appreciate you. Have a good day, Rudy.
Thanks, guys.
There you go. It's Rudy Carpenter, everybody. He's presented by Chill Boys Underwear. Are you wearing bad underwear like my partner Manuch is at the moment?
Never.
That's like striking out looking. Chill Boys boxers are a home run. Soft, cool, built for comfort in the clutch. Step up to the plate at chillboys.com and use code ESPN. Score 20% off. Once again, that is chillboys.com. Quick break. When we come back on this day and a little football at 50. Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. Always streaming on YouTube.
Life's a sprint, and you need a quick pick-me-up. Meet G2G protein bars, the ultimate grab-and-go meal replacement. Whether you're hustling in the office, enjoying a day on the links, or conquering the daily grind, G2G is your perfect fuel. Score an 8-pack at your local Costco's refrigerated section, or explore amazing flavors at G2Gbar.com. Quick, delicious, and power-packed. G2G protein bars, setting the pace for your energetic lifestyle.
Ready to hit Lake Pleasant the right way? West Side Recreation has your perfect day on the water. From Bluetooth speakers and tow bars to floating mats, tubes, full shade, and all the safety gear. Use code ESPN and get 15% off your rental right now. Whether you want to relax or ride wild, just bring the sunscreen. We've got the rest. Book today at westsideaz.com. West Side Recreation. We rent fun.
Arizona's headquarters for Toyotas is Wright Toyota. Hey, rock for my friends at Wright Toyota in Scottsdale. You will always find the right deal at Wright Toyota. Wright Toyota has been driving Arizona's home for years with their amazing service, pricing, and great selections. I encourage you to discover the difference at Wright Toyota. Make the right choice, Wright Toyota, just off the 101 on Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard, and always online at wrighttoyota.com. The right price, the right selection. Check out wrighttoyota.com.
Join the team at the largest towing company in the state, All City Towing. We're hiring dispatchers, call takers, lot attendants, drivers, and customer service personnel. Enjoy benefits like the state's most advanced towing equipment, set work schedules, a healthy 401k employer match, health benefits, employer paid life insurance, and a monthly fuel allowance. Ready to take your career to the next level? Visit us at allcitytowing.com. All City Towing, where your future is on the move.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
Turner and Rose is the way to go.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
Turner and Rose is the way to go.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
Turner and Rose is the way to go.
I'm attorney Kevin Rowe. Getting rear-ended once is bad enough. Don't let the insurance company hit you again with a lowball offer. Call an experienced attorney who knows how to fight and win. Call Lerner and Rowe today. 977-1900.
Turner and Rose is the way to go. Call 977-1900. 977-1900.
For nearly 150 years, American Humane Society has been a promise and a guiding light in the world of animal welfare. Our commitment to rescuing, caring for, and protecting animals sets a gold standard in care and compassion. As pioneers in the field, we've grown into a global authority, trusted to lead the way in nearly every arena of animal protection. We are the guardians of those who cannot speak for themselves. Join us, and together, we will create a more humane world.
It's time for the guys to take you back. A quick reflection on some of the more memorable, weird, and entertaining moments in sports and pop culture. Sponsored by Arizona Iron Furniture on This Day Report. Visit one of our 4 Valley locations in Glendale, Scottsdale, or Gilbert and experience our craftsmanship firsthand. Find them at ArizonaIronFurniture.com.
Welcome back, everybody. It is Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B, ESPN 620. A little on this day. Manuch, what do you got?
I'm going to go back to 1994 in the National Football League.
Okay.
When the NFL announced that the Carolina Panthers would join the league as an expansion team. They began playing in 1995. 1971, legendary Chicago Bears coach George Halas retires after compiling 318 wins, the most in NFL history.
It's amazing.
What was he, 103 by the time he got done?
Unbelievably good.
Papa Bear, boy, he was dialed in most of the time. A little Major League Baseball going back to 1991. Here's a guy a lot of folks have forgot about.
Yeah.
Dennis Martinez of the Montreal Expos throws a perfect game against the Dodgers. It's the 13th in Major League Baseball history. 1983, the infamous Pine Tar game resumed. Talked about this the other day. George Brett's July 24th homer was upheld after the protest, and the Royals finished the game with a 5-4 win over the Yankees. That's when the front office of Major League Baseball did the right thing and overturned the Batgate, or the Targate, if you will.
Yes.
And they said that
Pine Targate.
Pine tar, well, you name it. 17 inches above. I think he had pine tar from the handle.
Man, they did.
All the way to the top of the bat. So Major League Baseball did the right thing. It resumed. And the Royals win that game 5-4. 2004, Ichiro Suzuki had 3 hits, beginning a stretch that would lead him to Major League Baseball record, 262 hits in one season.
Manuch, he was inducted into the Hall of Fame yesterday. He was so impressive. He gave his speech in English.
Who knew?
And I'd like to know who the dope was that didn't vote for him. There was one writer who didn't vote for Ichiro.
We're going to have Barry Bloom on here at the top of the 2 o'clock hour. Maybe he can enlighten us who that one writer is, because he is a Hall of Fame voter.
Yes.
But he also wrote an article on the humor and Ichiro speaking in English. There you go, Jimmy, on this day.
All right, perfect. Hey, by the way, you can transform your patio with handcrafted style from Arizona Iron Patio Furniture. It's built right here in the state, made to handle the desert heat and built to last. Visit one of their Valley locations or check out the full collection, ArizonaIronFurniture.com. Again, that's ArizonaIronFurniture.com. All right, Manuch, let's do a little football at 50.
All right, Con, a little football at 50. Well, the Arizona Cardinals' new radio analyst is former center / lineman / guard A.Q. Shipley.
All right.
He was here for 4 years. A.Q. Shipley, a former lineman, played with the Steelers, the Colts, was also here when played with the Tampa Bay Bucks, got a Super Bowl ring.
With Tom Brady.
Bruce Arians loved him. So we're going to try to track him down, get him on the show tomorrow, get his thoughts at A.Q. Shipley as Wolf retired after 20-some years back in February. So you got an offensive lineman in the booth with Dave Pash and Paul Galvisi kind of breaking it all down. So A.Q. Shipley will be the new guy in the booth for the Arizona Cardinals.
Congrats, A.Q.
Deion Sanders broke his silence about his health this morning in a presser. He had bladder cancer. He had a tumor on his bladder that was removed, and pretty much is cancer-free at this time. Just got to hope and pray it stays in remission. But had it removed and says he has been cured, lost 25-some pounds.
Right.
But he said that the issues were pretty much he was in rest in his place in Texas.
Yeah.
Talked about a lot of that, and he kind of held off on all that at the Big 12 media days. He said he just wanted to talk about football, and rightfully so. And at the right time this morning,
I get it.
Talked about having the bladder removed, but he had a big tumor on that bladder.
I thought it was funny during the press conference, and he tried to crack everybody up, and he did. And he said, well, I pee a little differently now.
Like he used to. Yes. And he also recommended that all men 40 and above get checked. Well, another wide receiver is getting paid.
Whoa.
Yeah, the Denver Broncos wide receiver, Courtland Sutton, has reached an agreement on a 4-year, $92 million extension, as Adam Schefter of ESPN reported today. Now, Sutton, who's 29, was set to enter the final season of a 4-year, $60.8 million extension he signed with Denver back in 2021. He had repeatedly said, I want to get paid. Is basically, I'll just kind of cut to the chase. And so now, Courtland Sutton, Denver Broncos, is, you look at that as face value, $21 million per year. I have not seen any kind of a guaranteed money that he's going to be getting. But Courtland Sutton going to get paid on par with a lot of the other wide receivers out there.
How do you rank him, Manuch?
Oh, he's top. He's one of the top 5.
Okay, so
absolutely.
He's Bo Nix's guy.
Yeah, and we know we regrettably have to give the Dallas Cowboys a little love once in a while.
Yeah.
Micah Parsons. What? Holdout intensifies at Cowboy camp. Say it ain't so, Connor.
Well, I don't know what to tell you, man. We saw the guys aren't really – hey, Jerry's willing to spend money. He did it over the weekend. We extended Jake Ferguson.
Sure did.
The issue is Jake Ferguson wasn't asking to be at the top of the market.
Was he getting $13 million per year over a 4-year time frame?
I think it came out to he had 30 guaranteed, around 13 a year, like you were saying, and I think it's going to be right around 7th in the league as far as tight end payments go. So, a top 10 tight end, you'll take that.
So the
Micah, he wants the big bats.
Yeah, he does. So what do you think his number on average is per year? Where's he going to be with all the other
Mike is going to be somewhere from 39.5 to 40.
Is that par with TJ Watt?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the price just keeps going up. Every day they don't do it, and these other edge rushers. He honestly, guys, I'm really hoping he gets figured out before Trey Hendrickson. That's the shocker.
Speaking of Trey Hendrickson,
I was just going to say,
do you have that cricket sounder anywhere? It's just totally crickets. reference to him. So the Micah holdout, he's not in camp. It's a hold in now.
Yes, now
So
it's a hold in.
That's a new thing now, Jimmy B.
Yes.
Yeah, you show up, you're there, but you're not practicing, but you're there.
Yep.
Because you're not getting fined 10 grand, 20
Jerry
grand a
did
day.
say he liked that. When they asked him about it over the weekend, they said, Jerry, how do you feel about Micah being at practice and not participating? He goes, well, Micah, as long as he doesn't get hurt there, I think it works out for us.
Yeah, so is he officially a holdout or a hold in there, Connor? I mean, Mr. Dallas Cowboy.
I think he is at practice and he is conserving his body.
Yeah, so he's a hold in. That's kind of the whole thing. And we saw that with
I saw
Brandon
him holding the bags. He got hit a couple times.
Be careful, man. They actually hit the bags?
So just a little bit. Just a little, a little elbow shove in there.
With the bag. As we mentioned earlier, Starling Thomas V out for the season with the ACL. That means that Sean Murphy-Bunting, the other corners. So both your starting corners are out. Also, Jaden Davis is out. So it looks like Will Johnson, for now, will be plugged in at the right corner. And then Max Melton looks like he'll be the other corner. That's a big blow for this Cardinals team to have your two starting corners out. So there you go, Jimmy. A little football at 50.
I like it. Thank you, pal. All right, hour number 2 coming up. By the way, at the top of the hour, we are headed to New York Yankee Stadium. We're going to catch up with Sportico senior writer Barry Bloom. He was at Cooperstown for the Hall of Fame, and also Bob Nightengale as well, coming up at the bottom of this upcoming hour. You can't miss a second because it is Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. ESPN 620 98.7 FM HD2, plus streaming on YouTube as well. We'll be right back with hour number 2.
Hi, sports listeners. It's Wayne from AMCO. So I know a lot of you have bought new or new used cars that have extended warranties. Your salespeople tell you have to go back to the dealer for repairs. That's not the case. If you have an extended service contract that's hiding in your glove box, please don't forget it's there. And remember that you can use it at any AMCO. Most people think you have to go to the dealer for oil changes and service to keep your warranty valid. That's also not the case. You can have your vehicle serviced at any authorized service center. And AMCO is authorized by all of the major warranty companies. AMCO has dealership quality, rental cars, no hassles, and faster service. Now remember, AMCO does more than transmissions. So if your car needs repairs, or you hear, feel, see, smell, or even think you have a car issue, please call AMCO first. Just Google AMCO for your nearest location. That's AMCO, AAMCO, transmissions, and a whole lot more.
Lowe's knows big savings make a big difference, especially when you're shopping for appliances. Hurry in to get up to 30% off select major appliances. Plus, My Lowe's Rewards members get free delivery, free haul away, free installation and parts on purchases of $2,500 or more. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 7/30. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Price, delivery time, and vehicle availability may vary based on order size and location. Exclusions apply. See Lowe's.com/delivery for more details.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds. With that kind of money, you could go big time. The next time you're out to dinner with friends, you can order the shrimp cocktail for the table. And maybe you'll realize it only comes with 4 shrimp after you've already given away 3, but that one shrimp will be so good. And if you switch and save hundreds, you can get shrimp all the time. Switch to Progressive and you could save big time for shrimp. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Potential savings will vary.
This summer, escape the heat and head to Backyard Desert Ridge, where Valley sports fans go to play. Catch every big moment on 4 massive 10 by 18-foot LED screens and over 40 HD TVs. Fuel up with wings, nachos, and 45-plus beers or cocktails on tap. Then keep the party going with live DJs and reverse happy hour specials. And this fall, it's Forks Up at Backyard, your go-to spot to catch every Sun Devil football game all season long. Reserve your table now at BackyardUSA.com.
As parents, we watch our kids grow up, cheer at their games, help with homework, and worry about the choices they'll face. One bad pill laced with fentanyl, that's all it takes. That's why I've talked to my older kids about carrying naloxone. It's not about expecting the worst. It's about being prepared, because one dose can save a life. Please carry naloxone. Be ready. Be safe. Learn more at naloxoneaz.org. That's naloxoneaz.org.
KTAR AM Phoenix, Arizona's home for the worldwide leader in sports. Is ESPN 620. Let's get back to Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B now on ESPN 620.
I am here today, not because my skills are better than others. 3,000 hits or 262 hits in one season are achievements recognized by the writers. Well, all but one of you. And by the way, the offer for that writer to have dinner at my home has now expired.
Oh, that's Ichiro from yesterday. It was great. And he did the entire speech in English. It was even better. That means that Barry M. Bloom, senior writer, Sportico, you can follow him on X at Boomski, that is at Boomski, and he is our guest right now. All right, I got to know, Barry, you got any idea who the idiot writer, and I hope it wasn't you, the idiot writer who did not vote for Ichiro? Has that ever been identified?
No, and it probably never will, and I can tell you as a fact that it wasn't me, despite my weird relationship with Ichiro over the course of the years. And the fact that I published a column on this basically back in December when the ballots came out, and I printed my ballot. So the evidence is there that I voted for him.
You know, it's interesting. And Barry, always good to catch up with you, Roc and Manuch and Jimmy B. You look at Ichiro, you look at his
Thanks
career.
for having me, guys.
Yeah,
you bet.
You bet. You follow his career. He quietly had a phenomenal career, up there in Seattle and then Yankees and then the Marlins. For you as a baseball writer for so many years and covering him and writing about him, what intrigued you or impressed you the most about Ichiro?
And I think he talked about it yesterday. It was his compelling desire to be as good as he was, and the routine he had and the work he put into it. And what I can look back on it now and probably think that even though he did a lot of interviews with me over the course of the years, he was always pretty curt, or a wise guy. And he did weird things during the interviews. I think when I look back on it now, it's sort of like I had him breaking his routine. And even though he was cordial enough to do the interview, he really didn't want to do it because it was breaking his routine. But I will say, when I saw him at the Hall of Fame, after all the stuff I've written about him, positive and negative over the years, when I saw him at the Hall of Fame at the reception on Saturday night, he looked at me and said, "Oh, but this has been a long time," and he gave me a big hug. So it's kind of washed all of it away.
Yeah, and you wrote that on Sportico yesterday as Ichiro delights Cooperstown crowd with the side they'd never seen before. I'm glad you wrote it because I read that first, and then I went on YouTube last night to watch his speech. And it's like the guy was either playing a lot of people like yourself for many years and just kind of winked at you yesterday, gave you hugs, and look, it was just all play. It was just all playtime. But I was just impressed with how many things he came forward with and in the English language.
Yeah, I mean, the comment I got from Cece about it was that everybody on the Yankees when he played for them knew this because he's always been fluent in English. And one of my favorite stories with him was like the last previous time I talked to him was 5 years ago when he was finishing up with the Mariners, and he didn't know that he was going to be finishing up with the Mariners. He was hoping that they'd sign him and he'd play the entire season, but they had no intention of doing that. They were signing him to play the games in Japan against the A's to open the season, and that was all. That was the end of his career. But he went to spring training, trying to make the team. And the year before, he had been over 22 or something, and they released him. And so during a little scrum, I asked him if it was going to be tough for him to come back and hit against Major League pitching when he hadn't faced it in a year. And Alan Turner, his interpreter, before he even could get the word out of his mouth, Ichiro responded in Japanese without the translation. If you hadn't written for a year, how would you feel? And my response to Ichiro in English was, I'll tell you what, Ichiro, I've written more articles in the last year than you've had hits.
That's a great comeback.
I'm not talking to this guy again unless he gets into the Hall of Fame, until he gets into the Hall of Fame. Yeah. And I kept to that. And that's why, he hadn't seen me in such a long time, because in his post-career, I just had no interest in him until, January when he was, or December when he was put on the ballot, and January when he was elected. There's always one baseball writer. My understanding, Jeter missed by a vote, and it didn't bother him in the least. In fact, he never brought it up to anybody, wondering who that voter was. But Ichiro was very compelled right from the beginning to want to sit this guy down, have dinner with him, and figure it out. Why did you do this? Where did I fall short? And of course, the vote's anonymous, and the guy who did it doesn't have the guts to basically come out and admit he did it and say, here's why, and I'd love to have dinner at Ichiro's house.
That's amazing to me. Look, there was CeCe Sabathia, Billy Wagner, Ichiro, of course, Dave Parker, and my favorite, Dick Allen. Why did it take so long for Dick Allen to get in?
Well, I mean, come on. You've read the books. I was around. I watched him as a kid. I mean, what they did was, they recast his career, especially the early years in Philly, in the fact that he had to deal with a huge racist culture in Philadelphia at the time. And that's why he acted the way he did. And okay, fine. That's a great way of recasting it. I don't buy it. I've never seen a guy who did more things, negatively with his team. There's a book by my friend Mitchell Nathanson, the second manager of the Phillies, who worked with him after Gene Mock. Basically, the title of the book is Only the Lord Himself is the name of the book. And the quote from the manager was, only the Lord himself can manage Dick Allen. He was crazy. He was nutty. He missed games. Yeah. He went to the horse track. He didn't show up for second games of doubleheaders. He walked out on teams, and it wasn't just the Phillies. He had the same problem with St. Louis. He had same problem. He walked out on Chicago when, Roland Hemond and, a couple of the guys, really bent over their backs for them to make him comfortable. I mean, it just was who he was. It was his personality, and his numbers were marginal as Hall of Fame numbers. Only, when they started casting it in terms of OPS and OPS plus, and then because of OPS plus, he was listed above many of the players who were in the Hall already. Then his proponents started using that. And I really do think that successive owners in the Philadelphia organization, whether it be Rudy, Carpenter, or Montgomery, or Middleton, I think there's a real kind of buyer's regret that he was treated the way he was in the Philadelphia uniform, and they went to bat for him to get into the Hall. But there's a lot of reasons why it took him. I mean, he didn't stay on our ballot. He was knocked off our ballot and reinstated. And I think he spent 6 or 7 years on the writers' ballot. And the writers who covered him, who saw this on a day-to-day basis, many of whom were friends of mine, and I patterned myself after early in his career, they didn't vote for him. There are reasons for all this. But, be that as it may, I'm glad for all the people who were in his corner that he did get into the Hall. I mean, I don't think the Hall is for just like the best behaved people in history. It should be the character of a player should be incorporated. Funds and Rose, in my mind, should be in the hall, with an asterisk about what they did.
Okay.
But the players who did well, or the players who had an impact, and Allen certainly had an impact, deserve to be in the hall.
All right. You mentioned Pete Rose. I'm with you on that as well, with the asterisk that he did cheat as a manager. Do you see any of the steroid guys, Bonds, Clements, McGuire, any of those guys getting an opportunity or not?
My feeling with it is, as long as the hall is under current management, it's going to be hard for any of those guys to get into the hall. But ultimately, it's not going to remain this way forever. That when Jane Forbes Clark ultimately, passes on, it's going to go into a trust with different leadership and a different board. And at that point, and it may be after all, we're all long dead, will they put together a committee to analyze what happened in the steroid era and the people who are involved in it, and then start putting some of them into the hall. But I do think it's going to be a long time, unless in 2028, in that committee, somehow Rose gets elected, and then all bets are off because the floodgates open.
My last question, we got about a minute here too, Barry, and we appreciate your time. I know you're at Yankee Stadium getting ready to cover that game. We talked about Suzuki, Sabathia, Billy Wagner, and as Jimmy just said, Dick Allen, but David Parker as well too. What about one Barry M. Bloom is that you're intrigued about to write about these individuals that got them to the Hall of Fame?
Well, again, when you ask why did it take so long for for Dave Parker to get into the Hall of Fame, it's the same question that you'd ask about Dick Allen. And, this is a guy who was heavily involved, as great a player as he was heavily involved in the Pittsburgh drug trials, and was charged and was suspended from baseball. And, along with a whole group of very famous players from that era. And I think that really, in the short term, it affected the way the writers looked at him when he was on the ballot, and whether, and even the committees that were voting on him until now. And it's interesting to me in the synopsises about Parker, you don't read much about that. And even Cece yesterday in his speech, mentioned the fact that he was recovering and still is, for the rest of his life, will be a recovering alcoholic. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that could have excused his whole entrance into the hall too. But, Parker, to me, was another, marginal guy who was affected by, his actions off the field, and rightly so.
Barry, it is great to have you on the show. We know you're at Yankee Stadium. No Aaron Judge. So are the Yankees, you got 30 seconds. Are the Yankees in panic or not?
No, okay. They've got a pretty good lineup in there tonight. And we were talking about it with Boone before the game. Judge will come back off the disabled list, and he'll be a designated hitter for a while until his elbow heals.
Thank you, pal. Enjoy the game tonight. We always appreciate your time.
Okay, have me on more often.
We will.
We will. Now that you said that, we're going to be calling you.
Be careful what you wish for, Barry.
Do it.
Okay, Barry, thank you. God, I love that. Hey, have me on more often.
Well, and the one thing that Barry doesn't sugarcoat it.
No, he don't. He was direct.
It just goes to show you that, that the writers are looking at off-field situations as far as on field, and probably more so in baseball than any other sport as far as Hall of Fames are concerned.
I found it interesting what he said about Pete Rose. If Rose gets in, the floodgates then would probably open up, and they may be more inclined to take a look at the steroid guys.
Unfortunately, I think all of us will be long gone when they have the new committee, new group of.
I agree with that.
When things come into play, unfortunately.
That's Barry M. Bloom, senior writer, Sportico. Thank you. And yes, Barry, if you're listening in New York, we will have you on. Coming up, it's our G2G Bars Game Changer of the Weekend. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. ESPN Radio 620.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, the ultimate lunch lineup boasts wall-to-wall sports and scenic views. When you're hungry and in a hurry, the Scratch Kitchen delivers lunch in the clutch. I mean, where else can you order a 29-degree draft beer and a quickie combo on your lunch break? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Twin Peaks Scratch Kitchen scores every time. Dig into hand-smashed burgers, chef-inspired flatbreads, and more at your local lodge.
Summer is just around the corner. Is your roof ready for the monsoon season? Well, now's the perfect time to call State 48 Roofing for a free roof inspection. Don't wait until you're dealing with a leaky roof in the scorching heat. Protect your home today. Visit state48roofing.com or call 480-268-4509. Keep your roof sexy with State 48 Roofing, the #1 referred roofer in Arizona. Proudly serving the Arizona residential and commercial markets for over a decade.
Hey, Manuch here. As a former NFL quarterback, I've taken a few hits, but nothing worse than bad underwear. Sweaty, itchy, riding up. Now that's a daily sack nobody needs. The crew at Cho Boys sent me their boxers and boxer briefs, and I'm telling you, these are the real MVP. The bamboo pairs, game changers. Cool, soft, breathable, like calling the perfect audible for your lower half. Even out in this Arizona heat, Cho Boys keeps me comfortable and focused. I've swapped out the old gear. Now I'm Team Cho Boys, and the whole squad at ESPN 620 is too. Try one pair, you'll feel the difference. Hit up choboys.com, use code ESPN, and get 20% off your first order. That's choboys.com for underwear that protects the pocket and keeps you cool in crunch time.
At Vans Golf Shops by Worldwide Golf, the new Callaway X-Forged and X-Forged Max irons have arrived. The new forged irons feature single-piece forging for pure, responsive feedback and a tri-level sole for superior turf interaction. Swing by Vans Golf Shops to be the first to test drive the new Callaway X-Forged and X-Forged Max irons. Trusted by golfers since 1963 and home of the legendary 90-day satisfaction guarantee. Vans Golf Shops by Worldwide Golf. Get there.
Every day in Maricopa County, people aging in place need rides to medical care, to visit the bank, or to get groceries. Volunteer to become a driver and make a friend. Join Neighbors Who Care's flexible volunteer program to help older neighbors remain independent and live at home this summer. Visit neighborswhocare.com/volunteer to sign up. Help us help our seniors now as we prepare for the Arizona summer.
Time for the G2G Protein Bar Play or Team of the Weekend. Did your favorite player make an incredible play or your team had a big upset? They probably know all about G2G Protein Bars, a refrigerated protein bar with unmatched taste, grab and go goodness. G2G Protein Bars are now available at Costco.
Welcome back in, everybody. Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. We are hanging out here until 4 o'clock today for your listening and dancing pleasure. It is our G2G Bar Game Changers of the Weekend. I'll begin first because this was history in the making. As many of you know who listen to this show, I am kind of like a history guy. I've always enjoyed history. And Bubba Wallace yesterday on the Indianapolis racetrack made history.
Here they come off of turn 4. The Brickyard belongs to Bubba. Wallace wins in Indy, and he's going to the playoffs.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Thank you so much.
Thank you to TNT for that. Bubba Wallace becomes the first black driver to ever win a race at the Indianapolis Raceway. Ever in over 100 years of history, it is Bubba Wallace who breaks through. Also, he had not won a NASCAR race in over 100 races, so that was really big for him. And he qualifies as well for the championship shootout in NASCAR. So my G2G Game Changer, available at Costco in the refrigerated section. Just go to g2gbar.com, is Bubba Wallace.
Yeah, how about that? I got to tell you what, Jimmy, for a guy that's persevered and endured, I think of some of the racers that are out there, some of the golfers that are out there. I think of some of the minor league players that finally get their at bat in the show, so to speak. Guys that have persevered and toiled.
He has
for such a long time. And there was a couple years ago he thought about quitting.
Yeah.
He thought about quitting, but congratulations to Bubba Wallace. My G2G protein bar game changer happened in Houston with a rookie from the Sacramento A's.
American League, he has certainly made an impact on the baseball. 38 extra base hits since April 23rd. That's the day he made his major league debut. Now he goes inside out, deep to left. Forget about that baseball. 0-1 in the air to deep left. Houston, you do have a problem. His name is the Big Amish.
I was a freshman in high school. That was the last time that he had an A's rookie with a 5-hit game.
First pitch. Oh, my!
Oh, my goodness. It's unbelievable. This kid is on another planet.
Swing and a drive. Deep to left. He's done it 4 times.
What a magical night for the Big Amish. Smooth as butter, baby.
That's right, the Big Amish. We got the Big Dumper. We got the Big Amish.
That's great.
Nick Kurtz, a rookie for the Sacramento A's, 4 home runs. As you heard that montage. Thank you to the Houston Astros as far as that's concerned. Rookie. Did I mention he's a rookie, Jimmy B?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, on Friday night in their 15-3 win over the Astros, that being the A's, as the Astros just came off a 3-game sweep of the Diamondbacks with his 6-for-6 performance. You just heard the 4 home runs. First rookie to ever do that feat. 8 RBIs and 6 runs scored. And he's currently hitting .305, the Big Amish. That is definitely, when I take a good look at it, he is my G2G protein bar game changer of the week. And the Big O, as they like to call, 6'5", 240 pounds, a young man from Lancaster, Pennsylvania, just went yard. The first 2, opposite deep.
Yes, opposite field.
Opposite field deep.
Yeah.
And those last couple, but good for the young man. Good for the Big O to take 4 deep as a rookie, first ever to accomplish that feat.
I will tell you this, Lancaster, Pennsylvania, I've driven through there. That is hardcore Amish country. Thus the nickname. Now we've got wait a minute, Manuch.
The Big Dumper, the Big Amish.
The Big Amish.
Yeah, they've got the nicknames popping up all over the place.
Great. This is great.
Yeah.
All right, what do you got there, Connor?
Yeah, so I figured, I saw what you guys were filling out this morning. I might as well keep with the trend of all of these historic performances. So I decided let's go to the PGA with Kurt Kitayama, who ended up winning the 3M on Sunday. However, the story was on Saturday where he fired an 11 under round 60, guys. To fire 60.
60.
Incredible.
Jimmy does that for the first 9 for crying out loud.
Oh, no,
that's not bad.
Oh, man. Hey, look.
Happy to do that, aren't you, Jim?
Friday and Sunday, man, I was out there toiling away, I'll tell you.
Needless to say, that was a course record there at TPC Twin Cities. This is how he wrapped it up on Saturday.
Caps off a magical moving day. 11 under par 60. And a well-earned ovation.
That's going to be my G2G game changer of the week. And Kurt Kitayama, like I said there, not only walking away with the victory at 3M, but when you set a course record, you're going down in the history book.
Look, I watched some of that a little bit. Manuch, he could not miss. He was on fire. The par 5s, he was just drilling shots onto the green, his second approaches, and he knocked down a couple eagles. He just couldn't miss.
He's not a big guy either.
No,
and he's crushing the golf ball. The thing about him, he also said left a couple putts on the course.
Yeah.
Because as you mentioned, he drained some short putts, some long putts, and there was a couple like 10-footers that he just missed for birdie. So you got to imagine, and the money for another guy like Kitayama to finally come through in a tournament was big for him too.
It really was. Okay, there it is. That's our G2 bar game changers. And if you haven't tried one yet, let me tell you, you are missing out because it's not your average stale off-the-shelf protein bar. What makes these bars so delicious is that they're fresh with no preservatives and stored in the refrigerator. That's right. I can pack one for lunch or after a workout because they're a great way to get some solid protein and healthy fats into my diet. Just check them out. Refrigerated section at Costco or go online, g2gbar.com. Again, that's g2gbar.com. Get one today, g2gbar.com. Quick break. When we come back, USA Today baseball columnist Bob Nightengale is going to be our guest. The latest moves as we get closer and closer to the trading deadline. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. First up, though, we've got Matt with an update. It is a Twin Peaks ESPN 620 update.
It's now time for your Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B's Twin Peaks ESPN 620 update. I'm Matt Lazarus. The Diamondbacks dropped 2 of 3 in Pittsburgh over the weekend, pushing just 1 run across the plate in the entire series. They'll look to bounce back this afternoon as they open a 3-game set against the Tigers at Comerica Park in Detroit. First pitch is at 3:40 with pregame starting at 3. You can catch all the action on Arizona Sports 98.7 or streaming on the Arizona Sports app. Meanwhile, with Randall Grichuk traded to the Royals, who's next? Who's the next D-back to move before Thursday's trade deadline? And tough break for the Cardinals. Cornerback Starling Thomas is out for the season after tearing his ACL in training camp. The summer bikini bash costume is officially here. Cool off with your favorite Twin Peaks girls all week and celebrate with specials on our favorite shots, cans, cocktails, and martinis. Twin Peaks, eats, drinks, and scenic views.
When hot is not an option, Stay Cool delivers. From patios to warehouses, shops to summer events, Stay Cool's Slim Cool Elite and Cool Cube mobile air coolers bring more air for less money. Rust-free, USA built, backed by over 40 years of cooling expertise. Available now at Home Depot, Lowe's, Ace Hardware, Tractor Supply, and Northern Tool. For more information, go to staycool-products.com. Stay Cool Products. Form, function, value. Get yours today and beat the heat.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
Turner and Rose is the way to go.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
Turner and Rose is the way to go.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
Turner and Rose is the way to go.
I'm Kevin Rowe from Lerner and Rowe, and we've been serving Arizonans for 20 years. Make the best choice after an accident. Call 977-1900. That's 977-1900.
Lerner and Rowe is the way to go. Call 977-1900. 977-1900.
Now open in North Scottsdale, it's the Orangedale Lounge. OD's, right off Thompson Peak and Bell, next to Bash's. Your new favorite dive bar has arrived. Cold drafts, chill vibes, always affordable prices, and the OD Mug Club, a one-of-a-kind membership you won't find anywhere else. No frills, just great people, ice-cold drinks, and a bar that feels like it's always been there. Follow at OD Scottsdale and get the scoop at orangedalelounge.com. Orangedale Lounge. Dive in and drink up.
Join the team at the largest towing company in the state, All City Towing. We're hiring dispatchers, call takers, lot attendants, drivers, and customer service personnel. Enjoy benefits like the state's most advanced towing equipment, set work schedules, a healthy 401k employer match, health benefits, employer paid life insurance, and a monthly fuel allowance. Ready to take your career to the next level? Visit us at allcitytowing.com. All City Towing, where your future is on the move.
Tired of the same old weekend routine? Then head to Putting World. Experience an elevated 18-hole golf adventure, followed by delicious eats, handcrafted cocktails, and live music at our chef-driven restaurant, Bar 19. Enjoy daily specials and happy hour deals that are sure to keep your wallet happy. Birdies, bites, and brews await. Check out this week's live music schedule at puttingworld.com or just swing on by Putting World, located in the Scottsdale Promenade. Eat it, drink it, sink it. Putting World.
Rock for WhiteToyota.com. At Wright Toyota, they'd like you to get to know them. Their goal is to make buying your next vehicle the kind of experience that earns your recommendation to family and friends. They invite you to use all of their innovative web tools on WrightToyota.com. So if you're looking for a new or pre-owned Toyota, head to their interactive website at WrightToyota.com.
The right price, the right selection, all at righttoyota.com.
Now back to Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. Now on ESPN 620.
Here's Eugenio Suarez, 0 for 4, leading home run hitter, waits. And he swings and skies one to right. Towards the line, moving over is Reynolds. Coming in, he will make the catch in fair ground. Carroll tags, he's coming home. Here comes a throw to the plate. It's not in time. Sacrifice fly for Eugenio Suarez, so the D-backs take a 1-0 lead in the 11th.
Wow, they finally won a game against the Pirates. Shocking.
Hallelujah.
Shocking.
Whoa. They finally scored a run.
Against the Pirates. Good. That's even better. Thank you to Arizona Sports for that highlight. That means we are discussing baseball, D-backs, and it is always great when we have a chance to catch up with Bob Nightengale, a USA Today baseball columnist, and you can always follow him on X at @BNightingale. That's at @BNightingale. Bobby, I'll get to the trade thing in just a moment. I would just like to kind of get an overall thought from you on the Hall of Fame ceremonies yesterday, and how much fun was that?
Yeah, it was a great time. Everybody had a ball. I think it's one of the most festive Hall of Fame celebrations I've seen. With everybody there for Ichiro and a ton of people there for Sabathia, particularly former players. I think I've seen some more former players there than I ever have at Cooperstown. So yeah, beautiful event. I mean, obviously, Billy Wagner is very popular too in Houston. Everywhere else he played, and people showed up, for remembering, Dave Parker and, of course, Dick Allen.
Did they ever find out who didn't vote for Ichiro? Is that out there? You got a sleuth on this, Bob, or what?
Come on, Bob.
No. I think the only people that know it is the Jack O'Connell, secretary treasurer of the baseball writers and in the accounting firm. So remember, someone didn't vote for Jeter either.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
We're starting to run into that, but no, nobody knows.
I got to imagine for you, being a reporter and being such a baseball fan, Bob, that having all those guys there to, if you can, talk to them and do stories, not only the Hall of Famers, but all the Hall of Famers that showed up. It's dang, you got to be like, shooting fish in a barrel. It's like, okay, I got to pick somebody. I can't interview all 95 that are here in Cooperstown.
Yeah, what you do, you end up just kind of talking and chit-chatting with the guys. Everybody's in a great mood, whether it's, staying in the hotel lobby, at the hotel bar late at night by the fireplace pit. Last night there's, fireworks going on. There's, Derek Jeter, around, or Sabathia, Randy Johnson, but just, everybody's just in a great mood. I mean, it's my favorite weekend of the year. It's just, kind of celebration of baseball.
I can imagine. Did it surprise you how outgoing and funny and articulate Ichiro Suzuki is with his English, and how he's more outgoing? And he seems like he's stumped a lot of reporters over the years that he's got this other side to him.
Yeah, well, I know he's spoken. It's got, I've spoken to him. I mean, Otani speaks English too. But what surprised me was just being that funny. And then it'd be some, he's a funny type of guy. I can see a couple of lines. But for him, for him to be not only funny, but just at the perfect delivery, I didn't expect that. That was like a Bob Uecker speech.
Yeah, it was very, very good, very entertaining. All right, take me then to the Diamondbacks. Two guys are gone. Who is next on the chopping block? Because I saw your tweet and it said Suarez, the Detroit Tigers have interest. Oh, guess what? They're in Detroit in a game ready to go here in just an hour or so.
How coincidental is that, Bob?
Yeah, we've seen that before. It's rare, obviously, but we've seen it at the trade deadline where the guy's in town and just packs his bags and goes across the hallway. So now it's perfect for Detroit. So okay, let's take a close look at him right now to see how he's looking. But yeah, they're gonna they should get a ton for Suarez. That's why I think they knew they had to move him a few weeks ago. So I mean, you still got Seattle still interested. The Mets, Houston, Cincinnati, Philadelphia. So a number of teams. Yankees backed out and went for Ryan McMahon instead. but they should get a nice, boatload of prospects for the guy. And then, but I think they're kind of waiting for everybody to meet the asking price. So wouldn't surprise me if he's not dealt until the last 30 minutes of the trade deadline on Thursday, where the other guys would go earlier, like Zach Gallen or Merrill Kelly.
So, Bob, do you think that's the main reason why it's taking so long is because of the asking price?
Yeah, absolutely. You might as well, hey, with all these teams that want him, you're taking advantage of a guy who's, having a career year, ask for the moon and then just wait to see if somebody panics or who blinks first. So, yeah, I think I would think he'd be the last guy to move of all the Diamondbacks pieces that are traded the next few days.
With the type of season that Zach Gallen is currently having, now 7-12 and a 5.60 ERA, and looking dreadful against the Pirates, is the asking price now by the Snakes for Gallen dwindling? Are teams going to back off and try to lowball because they know they want to unload him?
Yeah, I mean, everybody knows that they're, like I said, even a few weeks ago, that all the GMs said they're definitely selling. They're definitely going to sell, and even though when they were in the race, but certainly what's happened is Merrill Kelly's now the asking price is higher for him than Gallen. Mm-hmm. So teams want Kelly more. They know what Gallen's capable of doing. He's 3-0 with an 0.92 ERA against the Yankees and Mets this year, but Kelly's been very consistent. So, they're both rentals, but I think they'll get more for Kelly than Gallen, and they'll both be traded. And, I know there were rumors about they're only going to trade one guy. It doesn't make sense to just go through this thing halfway. You got to go full throttle.
And on top of that, as Jimmy alluded to, the value of Zach Gallen and Merrill Kelly having more value, it also seems as though when you look at Shipley might be available, depending. It sounds like a lot of teams are still talking about him. But I'm on in reference to some of the other players, and Mike Hazen talked about this on Friday, in reference to the Ketel Martes, the Corbin Carrolls, the Perdomas, et cetera, et cetera. He said, yeah, people are asking about them, but it would have to be some kind of a king's ransom or to take a Godfather line. Hey, make me an offer I can't refuse. It's interesting he'd come clean with something like that, Bob.
Yeah, I can't see any way that Corbin Carroll is going to get moved, or I can see Gary Elba getting moved. Perdomo is not going to get moved. So I don't see anybody that's got more years under contract getting moved at the deadline. Now, come wintertime, would it shock me if they traded Ketel Marte? No, it wouldn't. But there's no way they're trading Carroll. I don't think there's any way to trade Perdomo either. But I think in the guys that, that aren't free agents at the end of the year, then you start to listen in the wintertime. Just listen, you don't have to move them. But I think they still plan to be a contender next year.
Bob Nightengale is our guest on the Right Toyota guest line. So with what they are doing so far, meaning the Diamondbacks, and what you anticipate before the trading deadline, would you call this a house cleaning, dumping big contracts, or is it just out of necessity because the players we're talking about are on the last year of their contracts?
Yeah, no, I just think necessity. That's what our GMs have been saying all along, too, is that they got to move these guys because you got to look forward to 2026. It'd be a complete nightmare if you hang on to these guys. They walk away as free agents. Then you've got nothing in return, and you're going to have a disaster in 2026. So at least this way, you get some pieces that will help you next year and be even better than the year after that. So, yeah, the fact they're all free agents, if they wanted to bring somebody back, they could, particularly like a Merrill Kelly who's from here. But otherwise, I think they say, that we got about $70 million coming off the books. We'll hit the free agent market and gear up for next year.
Bob, with Naylor and Grichuk gone, all for pitching, will pitching continue to be the theme for the Diamondback trades to come? And is that because they feel confident with some of the position players they have in the minor leagues or those that are currently on this ball club?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the pitching's been a shortage. I mean, we saw that with the two co-closers, going out, Martinez and AJ Puck. and then of course, the big one with Corbin. So for those guys that go down and they didn't have replacements for them, I think that it's almost a necessity. Like every trade they make, you better get some pitching back in return.
So, Bob, is it me or
no? It's you, man.
Okay, I just have a little heartburn with players. We saw this a few years ago with the Mets, with players getting traded during a game. Grichuk, 2 at-bats. They call him. They're trading him to Kansas City. Gets on a flight. Is there no last bastion or is there no couth in Major League Baseball to wait till the game's over or do before the game? Or, hey, you just been traded. You just hit 3 home runs. You're going to KC. By the way, he was 1 for 4 for the Royals the next day. I don't know. That case kind of rubs me wrong as where's the integrity anymore? Is that just me being the purist I am in baseball?
Well, yeah, it's a kind of lousy way to conduct business.
Yes.
But I think it's a situation where, okay, we're going to agree on a trade, but you better pull that guy out. If he gets hurt, hit by a pitch or something, then it's off. Now, I remember back when I did a story when Mike Piazza was traded to the Marlins, and I was kind of stunned because I heard about it in the afternoon, but those guys were still playing those games.
Yeah.
So still, Bobby Bonilla played, and Sheffield, and Eisenreich, and Piazza played the full game too. So, but you don't see it anymore. Now it's like, hey, let's don't take any chances at all. If something happens during the game, like you said, hit by a pitch, sprains an ankle, then all of a sudden the deal's off and everything was wasted.
Did I read that Grichuk was of interest with the Royals during spring training or before the year started, Bob?
Yeah, as a free agent. Remember, he signed cheap. So, he was he's one of those guys people like just for the cost and being a platoon type guy, good in the clubhouse, but just a solid extra piece that people like.
Always good, Bob, when you take time with us. Thank you again for the insight. Have a great day.
All right, you too. Take care, guys.
There you go, everybody. Bob Nightengale, USA Today baseball columnist. Once again, you can find him on X at B Nightengale. Again, that's B Nightengale. Quick timeout. When we come back, random fact of the day, a little football at 50 as well. Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B, ESPN 620.
Life's a sprint, and you need a quick pick-me-up. Meet G2G protein bars, the ultimate grab-and-go meal replacement. Whether you're hustling in the office, enjoying a day on the links, or conquering the daily grind, G2G is your perfect fuel. Score an 8-pack at your local Costco's refrigerated section, or explore amazing flavors at G2GBar.com. Quick, delicious, and power-packed. G2G protein bars, setting the pace for your energetic lifestyle.
Beat the heat with AC Experts. Is your air conditioning ready for summer? Don't sweat it. Our certified technicians are here to keep your home cool and comfortable. From routine maintenance to emergency repairs, we've got you covered. Enjoy staycations in a perfectly chilled home. For a limited time, take advantage of our special discounts on new AC installations. Call AC Experts today at 480-386-6980 or visit acexpertsaz.com to schedule your appointment. Stay cool, Arizona.
Hey, it's Kevin Rowe from Lerner & Rowe, trusted across Arizona for helping injured people after serious car wrecks. And I'm Sean Forrester, managing attorney at Lerner & Rowe Law Group. We may sound alike, but Lerner & Rowe Law Group is a completely separate firm focused solely on criminal defense. We handle serious felonies, DUIs, and misdemeanors with decades of courtroom experience. If you're facing criminal charges, don't wait. Call Lerner & Rowe Law Group now at 602-977-1900.
Lerner & Rowe is the way to go. Call 977-1900.
Remember when things were built to last? Well, at Arizona Patio Furniture, we've been handcrafting premium outdoor furniture and custom cushions for over 15 years, right here in Phoenix, using 100% American-made materials. We build it, we sell it, we guarantee it with our exclusive 5-year plus worry-free warranty. Visit any one of our Three Valley showrooms or go to ArizonaPatioFurniture.com. Mention this ad for free delivery and setup in Maricopa County. Arizona Patio Furniture. Some things are still made like they used to be.
When driving in Arizona, move over or slow down for any flashing lights. Move over for tow truck drivers, highway crews, and emergency responders. Move over for any vehicle with its hazards flashing. Because at 65 miles per hour, a vehicle travels over 95 feet in 1 second. 1 second that could change everything. When you move over for anyone, you're not just doing it for them, you're doing it for their families. Their lives are flashing before your eyes. Move over, Arizona. Every vehicle, every time. It's the law. Please visit moveoveraz.org. This message is brought to you by ADOT and this station.
Need to feed a crowd? Let Venencia's bring the flavor to your next event. We know you have a lot of options when feeding a large group. Ordering directly from Venencia's means you get the best service and the absolute best pricing. There's no per-person fee. Just tell us how many people you need to feed, and we'll come up with a perfect plan to ensure everyone's well-fed and happy. Grad party, office celebration, family reunion. Invite Venencia's to the table. Text catering to 411-24/7. That's catering to 411-247 or Venencias.com.
It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B on their new home, ESPN 620.
All right, everybody, here we go. Manuch's favorite segment, Random Sports Facts of the Day for July 28th. What do you got?
Well, baseball umpires, for a few folks that don't know, that wore red blazers. I remember all this going on. In the 70s, American League umpires briefly wore bright red blazers instead of their traditional navy or black uniforms. Now, the experiment lasted only a few seasons before they switched back because players and fans hated the look, and the jackets were brutally hot in the summer. So we're concerned about the look of I remember those red blazers that guys
I remember them.
in the American League going back many, many years. But I thought that was interesting because all of a sudden they were gone. And that was kind of a signature that if you were going through if it was really one channel, it was NBC, to watch the game of the week.
Game of the week, yeah.
And if you didn't know who was playing, they were showing the shots. They'd show the umpires. If they're red, you knew it had an American League game.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought that was very interesting. You're just a little bit too hot for that red blazers. Like black blazers aren't hot either.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I thought black was the color you never want to wear in the sun.
So that's a random fact of the day for those of you that weren't around to watch Major League Baseball, at least in the American League.
Okay, fair enough. All right, it's a little early, but we got a lot of football news, so let's go for it right now.
All right, Carl, give me a little football if you love. Well, Deion Sanders revealed his health issues in this morning's presser. Revealed he had bladder cancer. Yeah. Had a tumor on it, had the bladder removed. He is cancer-free now. He said he lost 25 pounds at the time. Highly recommended, guys, like the prostate check, their colonoscopies. Just get checked, guys.
I agree.
I mean, those are some of the things that he mentioned. Now, it was very curious. They asked him why he didn't mention this at the Big 12 Media Days, was that 2 weeks ago. And he said he wanted to all be about football,
right? About
his team, about football. Didn't want any distractions to talk about his health. So he came out with it this morning, talked about that's where he's been. At his place in Texas for the last month to 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Just been recuperating. The Arizona Cardinals have a new radio analyst to replace our good buddy Ron Wolfley. The longtime center A.Q. Shipley will be the guy. He was played with the Colts, the Steelers, and the Cardinals. Now, the common denominator is Bruce Arians. So Arians was the offensive coordinator with the Colts and Steelers. They brought him in 2015. Didn't play a lot, was more of a backup. And then the last 3 years he was here, he was a starter. Mm-hmm. After that, he went to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, got his ring.
Hello, Tom Brady.
That's right, got his Super Bowl ring. And then he retired because of some neck issues and what have you. But he's been doing some broadcasting on the side. Been doing a podcast. He's been on Pat McAfee a few times.
I've seen him.
So we'll try to track down AQ. Hopefully get him on either tomorrow or Wednesday and get his thoughts about getting ready for this Cardinals team, what he sees, and just kind of how he prepares. So Dave Pash, A.Q. Shipley will be the new guy aboard the flagship station. Sorry, I couldn't resist that one there, Jimmy. You got Cortland's getting paid. That's right, the big fella. Resources Cortland Sutton has reached an agreement on a 4-year, $92 million extension with the Broncos.
He did get paid.
According to Adam Schefter, that this morning. He's 29 years old. Set to enter the final season of a 4-year, $60.8 million extension. Doesn't really say, and by the way, that extension happened back in 2021. Doesn't say if what the guaranteed money is at this particular time. He has 379 receptions for 5,300 yards, 32 touchdowns in 7 seasons, all with the Denver Broncos. And the Walmart owners, that's right, the Walmart folks who own the Denver Broncos, find it very, very comforting that he's going to be there for another 4 years. I would say the man got paid to the tune of about $20-some million a year.
Manuch, he is indeed Bo Nix's go-to guy.
Well, he is. And they want to keep, here's a team went to the playoffs last year.
Yeah, they did.
They got a taste. They want to keep their core nucleus. Bo Nix going into his second year. They want to just make sure that they have that core nucleus to move things forward.
Let me just quickly follow up. I know you got more items, but do you think Bo Nix is a type of player who might suffer the sophomore jinx?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Not under Sean Payton.
Okay.
No, I think that he's just going to be getting better.
Okay.
And because they have the pieces, that sophomore jinx is somewhat of a misnomer.
Okay.
Because a lot of times guys come in and they've got the pieces around them. You got to remember the National Football League is a lot of moving pieces every year. You got to keep that core nucleus. And that's why I think in this case with Courtland Sutton, keeping the part of that nucleus, his home run hitter, if you will, to help him prevent the so-called sophomore jinx. Well, Terry McLaurin of the Washington Commanders has gone from a holdout to a hold-in.
Explain.
This cracks me up.
I know.
So he was a holdout, I don't know, for 2 or 3 days. He's now reported to camp with the Commanders. He's there. But he's been reinstated to the active roster, but was placed on the physically unable to perform list, the PUP list, with an ankle injury. Wink, wink. Yeah, he has an ankle injury. Wink, wink.
Yeah.
So the holdout lasted 4 days into training camp. He probably got tired of getting fined, I don't know, $20,000, $10,000, whatever it is. So he's reported, and this is the quote. This cracks me up.
I know.
So, quote, Terry McLaurin has reported with and we're very happy about that, head coach Dan Quinn said.
Of course they are.
Quote, on the business side, Jim Adam Peters and the guys are still working hard with Terry and his representatives. While on the PUP, it's just like we do other guys. Work with the trainers and try to get back as soon as he can, close quote. So let me think about this. So when he was holding out,
yes,
did he injure his ankle? So now we wanted to be a report to take care of the ankle and being a hold-in, but he's on the PUP because obviously he must have got hurt, because you can get hurt on a holdout and still get fined, but maybe his wife, significant other said, you're doing what? And getting fined for how much?
Go make that money, honey.
Get your butt to camp. I don't know. Say you sprained your ankle, you tripped over the kid's doll or something like that. It just cracks me up that this hold-in situation.
You should have been a hold-in.
Oh, my God.
You should have done that, Manuch.
That's Manuch. You know, it's better if you hold out, because we may be holding out the entire year with you in reference to all that being said. Speaking of holdouts, hold-ins, all right, Connor, Mr. Dallas Cowboy fan aficionado. So what is it about Micah Parsons that is he a holdout or is he a hold-in? We're confused for all those Cowboy fans.
On, Manuch. He's not a hold-in. He's at practice. He's holding bags. He's getting hit.
He's holding bags.
He's just not wearing pads like the rest of the professionals.
That's what I want.
Okay, so we're having a lot of fun with it. Please describe what a hold-in, what Micah Parsons is actually doing as he's trying to get paid the bank.
So, to be fair to Micah, I will give him this.
Be fair, my butt.
No, seriously. Last year, Micah took a lot of flack because he didn't show up to training camp when it started.
Right.
And a big part of that was, he's holding out for a deal. Guys want him here, the leadership, yada, yada, yada. So this year, as we all know, DeMarcus Lawrence left. So the defensive end room kind of needs a new leader.
Sure.
Micah's like, I'll be at camp. I'll be there for my guys. Let's work every day. Now, granted, I'll hold the bag and you can hit it a couple times and I'll stand off to the side during team drills. Maybe I'll put the little clipboard in my pants and look like I'm doing something. So he's not holding in because he's still involved. And like I said, Jerry said, as long as Micah's okay, as long as Micah doesn't get any injuries, a physical player, those linebackers, those fullback positions, we don't need. So it's all right. As long as Micah's in there, as long as he's showing leadership, we can't ask for much
enough
more.
already. How sad has it become We talk about the NBA with the tail wagging the dog, the players wagging the wagging the owner.
The
NFL. Are you kidding me? First and foremost, they play flag football games anymore. Number two, they don't really practice anymore. They kind of go through the motions. And number three, it's gone beyond ridiculous that a guy's not going to get fined, even though he's there technically in the CBA. He can be there, and you just happen to wink, wink, air quotes, have an ankle injury. So what was it for Ayuk last year? Did he have a little hammy when he was holding in, wanting to get, imagine that. Holding in, wanting to get a new contract, but you just happen to find an injury, so everybody's happy.
You can call right now the Dan Manucci bitch line at 480-626-1450.
No, you could call, man, 602-230-0620 and agree or disagree. Okay, but you did get your tight end taken care of.
Jerry's fine paying people as long as they just don't want the most money. As long as you're not the best at your job, Jerry will pay you. If you are the best, then you got to wait all the way through camp. You'll get your money.
What the hell is the National Football League turned into? Here for the Arizona Cardinals, Starling, if you've not heard, Starling Thomas V, starting corner for the Cardinals, ACL out for the year. So your other corner, Sean Murphy-Bunting, out for the year before camp started. You have your two starting cornerbacks that are out. It looks as though Will Johnson will be plugged in, the rookie, at one of the corner slots, and then Max Melton at the other side, second-year corner on the other spot. I believe it or not, this is big. This is huge. This is a couple of big losses. I don't want to hear, it's plug and play, next man up. No. You have two, I think, very good corners that are going to miss. Also, Jaden Davis, one of the backups, he is out as well, too. So the rookie's got to step up. A few other guys are going to have to step up. Hey, Nick Rawlis. Hey, Nick, you're going to have to put some pressure on the QB to protect these guys. A lot of guys going, okay, where's the rook at? We're going to throw to that side. Where's the second-year guy at? We got it. Noted. Heads up.
Football at 50 presented by Westside Recreation. Ready to hit Lake Pleasant the right way? Westside Recreation has your perfect day on the water. From Bluetooth speakers and tow bars to floating mats, tubes, full shade, and all the safety gear. Use code ESPN. Get 15% off your rental right now. Book today. WestsideAZ.com. That's WestsideAZ.com. We rent fun.
Saving for retirement was tough enough for us.
Yes, and navigating markets can be challenging at times.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we take a disciplined approach with your investments.
Tell us more about that.
We take an active approach to money management, positioning your portfolio for opportunities we see ahead.
So all your clients get the same portfolio?
No, we tailor your portfolio to your individual goals and needs.
What about communication? We don't like being left in the dark.
We check in regularly to keep you informed on the markets and your portfolio.
Which means you'll help us stay on track.
Yes, our goal is your comfortable retirement. And as a fiduciary, we always put your interests first because we do better when you do better. At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
The summer sales event is on at America's most awarded Ford dealership for complete customer satisfaction, Sanderson Ford. Now get a Ford Protect 2-year, 25,000-mile premium maintenance plan at no charge. Plus, big Sanderson discounts and Ford incentives. Get a new 2024 Escape ST line for only $26,599. New 2024 Broncos Ford Big Bands for $30,899. And new 2025 F-150 Super Crew STX truck for $43,500. All three offers include the no-charge premium maintenance plan. Get it all with no hassle, no pressure, and no nonsense at Arizona's largest Ford dealership, Sanderson Ford. Thank you for your business over the past 70 years.
No-charge maintenance plan available on most models. Escape stock number 246582, Bronco Sport 245938, F-150 255193. Prices include Sanderson discounts and Ford rebates. All offers expire 9/2/25.
Sanderson Ford.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, your favorite drafts are poured at a frosty 29 degrees, and rare barrel-aged whiskeys are served just the way you want them. It's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Twin Peaks Scratch Kitchen scores every time. Dig into hand-smashed burgers, chef-inspired flatbreads, and more at your local lodge.
Ready to hit Lake Pleasant the right way? West Side Recreation has your perfect day on the water. From Bluetooth speakers and tow bars to floating mats, tubes, full shade, and all the safety gear. Use code ESPN and get 15% off your rental right now. Whether you want to relax or ride wild, just bring the sunscreen. We've got the rest. Book today at westsideaz.com. West Side Recreation. We rent fun.
KTAR AM Phoenix, Arizona's home for the worldwide leader in sports, is ESPN 620. And now, an on-air sports marketing presentation. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. Now on ESPN 620, 98.7 FM HD-2, and streaming live at ArizonaSports.com. The guys are powered by the law offices of Lerner and Rowe. In a wreck and need a check? Make one call, that's all. 602-977-1900. And now on your ESPN station in Phoenix, ESPN 620, Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B.
All right, we got baseball tonight. Diamondbacks continuing their road swing in the Motor City tonight against the Tigers in Detroit. Eduardo Rodriguez on the mound tonight for the Diamondbacks, who escaped Pittsburgh by scoring one run.
Yeah, this is
one run, Manuch.
Dang near embarrassing for this Arizona Diamondback team. When you look at this, scoring one run in 29 innings versus the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Yeah.
I mean, think about that. This Diamondback team was in the top 5 at one time, even going, I'd say 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
And they were even at a time during the season were probably up there as far as the clutch hitting was concerned. But these last few weeks, I don't know if things have been deflated. You lose Naylor, you lose Grichuk. The guys know that major changes are coming down, but still, when you look at it, let's go back to Friday with the 1-0 win in 11 innings. That was a good win, okay?
Okay.
So, but you look at runners in scoring position, because Torey Lovello and a lot of us, we talk about clutch hitting. So you look at runners in scoring position on Friday night, even though they won the game, 0 for 9, okay? Left on base, 9.
Yeah.
So Saturday, not quite so bad. You're 0 for 1 in runners in scoring position. You have 6 runners left on base in Saturday. How about yesterday? Again, 0 for 9, 0 goose eggs for 9 runners in scoring position, and then 7 runners left on base. Now, let me do my K-State math here for you.
Okay, go right ahead.
Okay, so over the weekend, 0 for 19 runners in scoring position, 22 runners left on base over the weekend. As I mentioned, 1 run in 29 innings, and Torey Lovello, talked about that in particular, about that just being something they can't have. And it's, they're not playing world beaters here. They took on the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Yeah.
And so you kind of look at that and you kind of go, that's kind of one of those things that has been building. You lost 4 out of 5. Obviously you win the first game, but you got swept by the Astros.
Mm-hmm.
You win the first one, 1-0. Outstanding pitching performance by Merrill Kelly. And you see the things that have happened. Pitching has been fairly solid except for yesterday. And then on top of it, let me compound that a little bit. Zach Gallen, now 7-12.
What?
This was a guy that was supposed to be your ace until Corbin Burns was signed.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, he signed it with the city discount because the wife loves it here. They live in the off season. He was supposed to be the guy. 7-12. But here's the thing that's somewhat disturbing. And I really believe this is where Mike Hazen's going to have some issues as far as to see what kind of value he can get for Zach Gallen. 5.60 ERA.
That's awful.
5.60 ERA. Awful. So you look at all the numbers. You look at this team, and you look at the way as far as him pitching and some of the things that he did or has not done. it's just all about the inconsistencies that we've had. Zach Gallen, who right now, Jimmy, is, I would say he's not an ace for this team. I think that Ryan Nelson, I think Merrill Kelly basically is the ace.
He is the ace
for this
right
team
now,
if they continue on.
Yeah.
So you looked at that game yesterday, and you kind of look at his numbers, 6 innings, 5 hits, the 4 runs, all earned, 85 pitches in 6 innings. Probably could have got another inning, but at this point, they bring Garcia in and Curtis, who both did a good job. Now, Curtis, he had the 4 hits in the in the bottom of the 8th to give up the 4 hits and the 2 runs, kind of padded it all for this Pittsburgh Pirates team. Tough to compete with Paul Skeens, who's thrown a 3-hitter at you in 6 innings.
He was great. 9
Ks against this Diamondback team. And on top of that, only a total of 5 hits off the Pirates. Now, Skeens, I know he's a dude. 99 pitches, 1.83 ERA. We know they would struggle. And you had Mazinski come in the last 2 innings and pretty much shut down the D-backs. 4 strikeouts in those 2, 3 strikeouts in the top of the 9th. Nobody's making contact. So I just wonder mentally where this team is at. Because you sit there and you think, okay, the at-bats versus the St. Louis Cardinals were pretty good. They sweep the Cardinals. You get swept by the Astros. You get your first victory against the Pirates. You lose this series against the Pirates and only score 1 run in 29 innings. So I think the mental capacity of what's going on or what's about to go on has got to be catching up with this team.
All right. I got to jump in because I have to ask you this question now. And I didn't even want to broach it when the Snakes were hovering around 500 and then under 500. But I think the question now has to be asked. We all know what has taken place with the Diamondbacks. All of the player injuries, all of the shuffling of players that they have had to do. Manuch, how long has Torey Lovullo been the manager?
Oh, man.
Like 8 or 9 years?
Yeah, 9 years. Yeah, going on 9 years, whatever that is.
A
long time for a manager.
You cannot put this blame on him because of all the injuries, but do you believe they need a new voice in the locker room?
You know what? I think Mike Hazen and Ken Kendricks, who's the managing general partner for the Diamondbacks, will have the discussion after the season. To your point, you look at
it's not his fault.
No, all the injuries that they've had. Yeah. You look at some of the lack of hitting, some of the gaps they've had on the base paths, some of those things that I think he can control or needs to be controlled better. Now they're basically saying, "Hey, look, my own gut feeling is that Torey Lovullo is going to get a mulligan this year. I really do, because the last 2 years took him to the World Series 2 years ago.
Yeah, missed it by a game the year before.
Yeah, so I think because of the injuries, because all the things that have happened, they're resolved to move on. Looks like Zach Gallen and Suarez and Kelly may be the next 3.
They're going to move.
Yeah, you think that they're going to be moving. So there's that to consider. Now, here's the other side of that.
Okay.
If you're going to rebuild, retool with the remainder of the players, and those guys are going to be coming back. Okay, so you think about, so we got Burns probably going to miss all of next year.
I would think so.
Okay, Martinez probably going to miss next year. So what do you have coming back? And I think that's what Hazen and Ken Kendrick and all the higher ups
office people,
they're going to take a look at.
Yeah.
So you've got a lot of guys injured. Who's coming back? Who's not coming back? To your point, do we get a new voice? Do we get a fresh set of eyes? Do we bring a complete new staff, managerial staff, base coaches, just wipe the slate clean and bring in some fresh faces and have an semblance of a team that can just play? I don't even know if they can play 500 baseball next year. I think that's what they're looking at with these wholesale changes. I really do.
Okay.
They can barely play 500 baseball with what they had.
I agree with that.
What they were with all the injuries hit. So I think, Torey's a good clubhouse manager. He tells it like it is. He's a good guy. He's the kind of guy that's going to make sure that you're on the same page. I like that about a manager. But on the other side, maybe there's too much comfort with Torey Lovullo as the manager, as the skipper in that clubhouse.
Are you saying maybe he's more of a friend than a boss?
Could be. Yeah, I think Merrill Kelly talked about that, that they're good outside the clubhouse, which is fine.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe maybe you need somebody to come in and it's a little more of a red ass that's going to hold some guys' feet to the fire a little more, not be afraid to change out some people. So it's one of those damned if you do, damned if you don't.
There you go.
I can see why.
Yep.
He's as we say in the National Football, he's a player's coach. Okay.
Yeah.
He's a good guy. He's going to straight shoot with you. He's not going to sugarcoat it. I like that. I appreciate that. Quite frankly, I think that Troy Lavella will probably be the manager, but you got to know if you're going to do a reboot and go after more pitching and go after more players, that'll be the topic of discussion to say maybe we need a change. And sometimes is change welcome? Yeah, it is.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, this team has been hovering on the borderline with the World Series 2 years ago. Last year they didn't make it. They've been on the edge, right? There's been no clear-cut division that these guys in Major League Baseball, in reference to the standings, have been a clear-cut contender.
Okay.
And have snuck in the back door. So if I look at right now, okay, we know with their 6 games back of the last wild card spot.
Mm-hmm.
And it was very similar last year, right?
It was.
And it was very similar the year before, right?
It was, and they got in the last day.
Okay, so they had the talent. 2 years ago, they played balls to the wall that first half of the year. Struggled the second half, snuck in, right?
Right, yep.
Last year, they really scuffled the first half, and they played balls to the wall in the second half, played pretty damn good. Just missed it by 1 game. This year, they were either on or off. We always talked about, are they 3 behind, 2 behind? They've been hovering over the last month between 4.5 to now 6 games behind the last wild card spot. So is it the injuries? Is it the management? Quite frankly, I feel it's a combination of all the above.
I'm with you on that, but I understand that Kendrick is going to have to make that decision.
Okay, and let me jump in on that.
Okay.
Ken Kendrick might make the decision for Mike Hazen to say, hey, look, me and the partners, we've given you the cash. We've given you the extension.
They invested, yes.
We've given you the Suarez's of the world. Mm-hmm. We've given you all the guys. We've paid them. Corbin Burns. We've extended. We brought in the AJ Pucks of the world. Okay, I know guys are hurt. Guys are injured. I get it. But when guys were healthy, we hovered around 500. We hovered about being on the borderline about making it or not. Hey, it's great. We caught lightning in a bottle. We just barely got in. We made it to the World Series. We got hot. But on a consistent basis, we've been inconsistent. Mm-hmm. Have we not?
That's fair.
They've been consistently inconsistent.
That's fair.
So they might say, hey, look, love Torrey, done a great job, but we've given you the people, we've given you the money, we've given you all the above. It could be, again, that business decision of if we're going to retool and reboot, and it's going to take us 2, 3, 4 years, then we're going to rebuild or go from there, then so be it. Now, here's the rub. Torrey's been good with rebuilding and rebooting with young guys.
He has.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes. Oh, I know. It's a very difficult decision.
It is. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. And it'd be unfortunate. But then again, those guys making the big money decisions might say, if we're gonna take 2 steps back in order to take 10 forward, he could be a casualty as well too. I don't think that's good. I don't think that's out of the picture. I don't.
All right, they play tonight in Detroit, and you can hear the game on Arizona Sports. I think, first pitch about 3:40 on Arizona Sports. Quick break when we come back. Frank Sanders, by the way, former Cardinals wide receiver, coming up at 3:30. But we will discuss the injuries that have all of a sudden besieged the Arizona Cardinals. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. ESPN 620, 98.7 FM, HD-2.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, the ultimate lunch lineup boasts wall-to-wall sports and scenic views. When you're hungry and in a hurry, the Scratch Kitchen delivers lunch in the clutch. I mean, where else can you order a 29-degree draft beer and a quickie combo on your lunch break? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Twin Peaks Scratch Kitchen scores every time. Dig into hand-smashed burgers, chef-inspired flatbreads, and more at your local lodge.
Introducing Baja Riba premium tequila found at Albertsons, Safeway, and your favorite restaurants. Crafted from 100% blue Weber agave, Baja Riba offers an authentic sipping experience. With 88 years of tradition, our master distiller creates smooth flavors of baked agave, white pepper, and citrus zest. And don't miss our stunning handcrafted bottle, winner of the 2022 Bottle of the Year by Tequila Aficionado magazine. Discover the artistry of Baja Riba tequila, one of the finest in the world.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
Lerner and Rose is the way to go.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
Lerner and Rose is the way to go.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
Lerner and Rose is the way to go.
I'm attorney Kevin Rowe. The insurance company's job is to pay you as little as possible. Our job is to get you every dollar you deserve. Call Lerner and Rowe today and let's make them pay. Call 977-1900.
Lerner and Rose is the way to go. Call 977-1900. 977-1900.
Beat the heat with AC Experts. Is your air conditioning ready for summer? Don't sweat it. Our certified technicians are here to keep your home cool and comfortable. From routine maintenance to emergency repairs, we've got you covered. Enjoy staycations in a perfectly chilled home. For a limited time, take advantage of our special discounts on new AC installations. Call AC Experts today at 480-386-6980 or visit acexpertsaz.com to schedule your appointment. Stay cool, Arizona.
Ready to hit Lake Pleasant the right way? West Side Recreation has your perfect day on the water. From Bluetooth speakers and tow bars to floating mats, tubes, full shade, and all the safety gear. Use code ESPN and get 15% off your rental right now. Whether you want to relax or ride wild, just bring the sunscreen. We've got the rest. Book today at westsideaz.com. West Side Recreation. We rent fun.
Before you fly, take a trip to your local MVD office or authorized third-party provider with your required documents and get the new AZ Travel ID with the Gold Star for your new driver's license or ID. Starting May 2025, this new AZ Travel ID gets you through TSA security checkpoints. It's quick and easy. Think of it as your license to fly. Learn how to get your new ID at aztravelid.com. Sponsored by ADOT in partnership with the Arizona Broadcasters Association and this station.
Now back to Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. Now on ESPN 620.
Snap to Murray. Drop straight back. A fade. Right corner of the end zone. Harrison. Oh, what a catch with one hand for a touchdown. Marvin Harrison Jr. hauls it in with his right arm. Just a gorgeous drop in the bucket by Murray. Got to see more of that in the upcoming NFL season. No question. Thank you to Arizona Sports Station. The Cardinals' injuries have all of a sudden escalated. It is no longer just Murphy Bunting being out for the year. Things have gotten worse, and Manuch and I are going to try to get into this a little bit because now Sterling Thomas is out for the year, so your two starting defensive backs are gone.
Yeah, Starling Thomas is the one that's out.
Yeah,
Starling Thomas the fifth. You got your two corners out for the year.
Yeah.
So you got guys that are looking to, hopefully make up for all that. And again, Will Johnson being the rookie out of Michigan is one of those that's looking to be penciled in at least for now as that corner. And so when you look at this defense, it's very unfortunate. Also, by the way, Walter Nolan out with the calf.
Amazing.
He was penciled in to be the left defensive tackle. So when you look at all things considered, Max Melton now looking to be the right cornerback. Will Johnson, the left cornerback. Also, by the way, Jalen Jones is out for the time being as a backup at the left cornerback. So Garrett Williams, your slot. You got Jalen Thompson, Buda Baker. They're your guys for now. But that's very, very unfortunate. I know there's a lot of competition in the defensive backfield.
There is.
Corners, safety. The safeties are set.
Yeah.
But the slot competition in the corners, yeah, very, very unfortunate to see something like that. And it's, I know it's training camp. There may be a few guys that kind of come and go at training camp. So that's why it's going to be vitally important to play Will Johnson, Max Milton as starters with this defense, moving this team forward. And if it wasn't for bad luck, this Arizona Cardinals wouldn't have any good luck whatsoever, any luck at all when you think about these two injuries.
If Jacoby Brissett goes down, my boy next to me here, Dan Manucci, Monty Ossenfort, just call him. He'll be there. I mean, he would run out of the studio so fast.
Are you kidding
Jump
me?
in his car. He'd be doing 100 miles an hour on the 101 to get there.
And I'll take a cut and paint. I'll play for $1 million a year. Are you kidding me? God forbid that any of that happens. And I think that, when Monty talks about, the defense, there was a focus on defense.
Right, there was.
There's a focus on the defensive backs.
Mm-hmm.
And to that point, you obviously, you look at your front seven, a very experienced front seven. And when you think of the front seven, you think, when that you look at the line group in reference to what they're going to do as the four guys up front. Now, Walter Nolan III, he had been the rookie on that side. But also, I think a couple things when you look at the the linebacking core, you also wonder too how a lot of the guys that are coming in are going to perform. So you got to have that depth, you got to have that cover, if you will. And for Nick Wallace, the defensive coordinator, I know it's early. First preseason game is a week from Friday, I believe it is, Thursday or Friday.
Yep.
What are you going to do to help get those guys ready as starters for this Cardinals team?
When you see what is taking place, and we just had a conversation about all of the injuries that hit the Diamondbacks, are you skittish all of a sudden because of what has taken place with the two defensive backs going down and Walter Nolan also on the shelf right now as well? Or are you, okay, it happens, it's a heavy contact sport. This happens sometimes in training camp.
Well, there was no contact with all these injuries.
Right.
First and foremost. I'm concerned. I mean, anytime you put a rookie out there on the island in Will Johnson and Max Melton going into his second year, I know Melton played quite a bit last year. He should feel comfortable.
Okay.
I feel somewhat comfortable with him. Because behind, if he goes down, you got a rookie on Denzel Burke that came out of a former Saguaro High School and out of Ohio State. And then you've got Elijah Jones, he's hurt. So if guys start going down, it could be a concern. I'm concerned with Will Johnson. I know he's very good in college.
Right.
Whole different game as a corner in the National Football League. Yeah, I would say I'm a little bit of concern, and I got to imagine that Monty Ossenfort would be one of those individuals that's seeing what's out there and seeing who is in this situation that might get cut or might released. That is a veteran at that corner spot.
So there was a big attention to the defense, but not so much on the offense. Here's Monty Ossenfort, the GM, discussing that.
The goal of the offseason was to improve the team, period. And so when we got to free agency, it just so happened that the deals that we liked, the deals that we were able to reach, and the supply of players, it fit that most of our additions were on defense. As it pertains to the draft, it's really a similar discussion in that, sure, I would have loved to add offensive players. I really would have. But when we're sitting in the draft and it's our time to pick, we're 99.9% of the time, we're going to take the highest rated player on the board. And so, for us to go in the draft and sit there and look at our board and say, hey, we got this defensive player graded up here and this offensive player graded down here. It's not, I don't believe in taking the offensive player just to say we took an offensive player. So it just so happened that 6 of our 7 picks, the defensive player was that way. We could go next year, it could go swing back the whole other way. It's just really just more of a product of what was available to us at those times.
To that point, Jim, you look at the draft, okay, defensively. So your first 5 picks are all defense. So Walter Nolan III looking to start now, very questionable. Will Johnson at cornerback out of Michigan looks like he's going to start.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan Birch, I'm sure, edge rusher out of Oregon will get a lot of playing time. Cody Simon at linebacker out of Ohio State, he could be very hard for him to be a starter at that Mike backer. We saw with Zaven Collins, they tried to force that with him as a Mike backer his rookie year. It's tough to put a square peg in a round hole. He just wasn't ready for it.
Right.
Now, Cody Simon, as well as he played at Ohio State, one of the top players in the bowl game, whether he's ready for the National Football League or not, he will play a lot. And then as we just talked about, the cornerback position, Denzel Burke, taking the 5th round out of Ohio State, he might get a lot of playing time too. with Max Melton moving up at the cornerback position. And Will Johnson looking to start at the cornerback position. So what Monty Ossenfort's saying is, yeah, we'd like to have more offensive guys, but just the opportunity to build the defense presented itself first.
Okay, let's skip down then to Monty here, talking about the pressure on this team on the offense, and in particular with quarterback Kyler Murray.
I mean, I think for all of us, there's no more important year than the one we're in. And so, I think that's the case every year that we go in. I think that's the business that we're a part of, and that's the way it should be. And so, I think there's nobody that has, that has higher expectations for, this group than, we all have those expectations. And so, I think we're all through the off season, through the OTAs, and now through camp. Like, that's why we do this. That's why we put the time in, and, that pressure is good. And so, I think all of us, it's the NFL. And so there's a pressure to perform every day. There's a pressure to, show our teammates, show our coaches that we belong. And I don't think that's ever going to change no matter what year it is.
Okay, third year. I think he was quite frank, subliminally said, this is a big year for us. What he's saying is this is a move year. Not that every other year is a big year, but this is a big year when you have all the pieces you feel surrounding Kyler Murray, which I think is a big year for him and this franchise. I really do. And we heard the highlight with Marvin Harrison Jr., right? I think for Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison Jr., and we're going to catch up with Frank Sanders next, former wide receiver for the Cardinals, get his thoughts on this. I want to see more big plays from those two. I want to see more big plays from this offense this year. I want to see more consistency out of Kyler Murray this year. I want to see more wins with the offense taking control of the game and getting more wins and not having to rely on your defense from getting turnovers. So I think what you just heard Monty Ossenfort, the GM, say was all that without saying it. I really believe that's what I heard. This is a big year.
Yeah, it is.
For the franchise.
I agree with that.
I mean, for him, for Gallen, for Kyler, for everybody involved, that they have got to turn the corner because I think they feel they've got the pieces to do that.
Manuch just gave a tease, so I don't have to do it again. Frank Sanders coming up here in just a couple of minutes. We're going to get into training camp, and we will continue all the way until 4 o'clock. It is Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B, ESPN 620, 98.7 FM HD2, always streaming on YouTube, and you can always go to rocandmanuch.com. But right now, Matt has your Twin Peaks ESPN 620 update.
It's now time for your Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B's Twin Peaks ESPN 620 update. I'm Matt Lazarus. The Diamondbacks dropped 2 of 3 in Pittsburgh over the weekend, pushing just 1 run across the plate in the entire series. They'll look to bounce back this afternoon as they open a 3-game set against the Tigers at Comerica Park in Detroit. First pitch is at 3:40 with pregame starting at 3, and you can catch all the action on Arizona Sports 98.7 or streaming on the Arizona Sports app. Meanwhile, with Randall Grichuk traded to the Royals, who's the next D-back to move before Thursday's trade deadline? And tough break for the Cardinals. Cornerback Starling Thomas is out for the season after tearing his ACL in training camp. The summer bikini bash costume party is officially here. Cool off with your favorite Twin Peaks girls all week and celebrate with specials on our favorite shots, cans, cocktails, and martinis. Twin Peaks, eats, drinks, scenic views.
Summer is just around the corner. Is your roof ready for the monsoon season? Well, now's the perfect time to call State 48 Roofing for a free roof inspection. Don't wait until you're dealing with a leaky roof in the scorching heat. Protect your home today. Visit state48roofing.com or call 480-268-4509. Keep your roof sexy with State 48 Roofing, the #1 referred roofer in Arizona. Proudly serving the Arizona residential and commercial markets for over a decade.
Arizona's headquarters for Toyotas is Wright Toyota. Hey, Rock, for my friends at Wright Toyota in Scottsdale. You will always find the right deal at Wright Toyota. Wright Toyota has been driving Arizona's home for years with their amazing service, pricing, and great selections. I encourage you to discover the difference at Wright Toyota. Make the right choice, Wright Toyota, just off the 101 on Franklin Wright Boulevard, and always online at wrighttoyota.com. The right price, the right selection. Check out wrighttoyota.com.
The Arizona heat is brutal, but your golf game doesn't have to suffer. Swing Shift Golf Club is your air-conditioned escape, open 24/7 with top-tier simulators and zero sunscreen required. And let's be honest, no other indoor golf spot even comes close. Swing Shift is absolutely stunning. It's modern, spotless, and designed to impress. Leagues ahead of the competition. Memberships start at just $129 a month. Cool off, tee off. Only at Swing Shift Golf in Scottsdale. Join now at theswingshift.golf.
Join the team at the largest towing company in the state, All City Towing. We're hiring dispatchers, call takers, lot attendants, drivers, and customer service personnel. Enjoy benefits like the state's most advanced towing equipment, set work schedules, a healthy 401k employer match, health benefits, employer paid life insurance, and a monthly fuel allowance. Ready to take your career to the next level? Visit us at allcitytowing.com. All City Towing, where your future is on the move.
Did you buy a lemon? If you've had repairs under warranty, your vehicle may qualify as a lemon under the Arizona lemon law. Don't let them give you the runaround. You're not on your own. The law is on your side, and so am I. Hi, this is Henry with Hammer Law, Arizona's lemon law firm. Enforce your rights under the Arizona lemon law. Call Henry and drop the hammer. Call 480-480-1014 or check us out at hammerlemonlaw.com. That's hammerlemonlaw.com.
Summer's here, and so are friends, family, and fun. But emergencies don't take a vacation. That's why having naloxone in your home first aid kit matters. Naloxone can reverse an opioid overdose fast. It's safe, easy to use, and it could save a life while you wait for help to arrive. This summer, be ready. Add naloxone to your home first aid kit because seconds matter. And so do the people you love. Learn more at naloxoneaz.org. That's naloxoneaz.org.
He played 8 seasons with the Arizona Cardinals. The Sandman.
It is caught. Touchdown Auburn. Sanders caught it. Touchdown Auburn. Frank Sanders from Nix. Auburn's ahead.
Frank Sanders joins Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. right here on ESPN 620.
All right, everybody. It's always fun when we get Frank on the show, and we are looking forward to having a great conversation with him right now. Frank, our topic has been injuries for the Arizona Cardinals early in training camp. You've been in lots of training camps. Have you seen injuries like this in your day pop up as much as they have already for the Cards?
And Frank, they're not even in pads yet.
No.
They've been in shells or T-shirts and shorts for crying out loud.
It's crazy, right? Happy Monday to you guys, man. Thanks for having me on the show as always. It's that time of the year where this is the part of the game that you do hate because, this is at one of the most highest points in a guy's life where he's knowing he's only a couple of weeks away from actually playing in his first NFL preseason football game against another opponent that he might have always wanted to play against or idolize or anything at that moment. And then an injury happens and it shakes up not only just himself personally, but the organization and the team, because therefore, we're developing the mindset of the mentality of getting ready to go into battle and to know that you got your players. And then when injuries start to happen, it changes the mentality of the team. And it's always the positive mindset that says the next one up. But if you lose a star player or a guy that is going to be a starter, it does change the mentality.
Yeah, it really does, because I think you're going to training camp going, wow, you got Starling Thomas V. He's at one corner. Sean Murphy-Bunting, unfortunately, got hurt before the season started, allegedly. So you probably feel pretty good with Max Melton coming in there. But when you have all the pieces there and then things start to crumble, Nolan III was penciled in at this point to be a starter as a tackle. I think that from a team standpoint, as an overall team watching that, it's got to cause some concern, not that they can't overcome it, but that's kind of unusual for a team not even 1 week into training camp.
No, it is. It's crazy, man. That's a part of the game. Injuries do happen. And I think that, when we look at us as a team, just specifically talking about the Cardinals organization, what we did in the offseason, what they did in the draft, they beefed up the defense. They went out and got guys. They signed players on the defense to continually just add, especially in the front seven. But we was never really worried about our back four. And now we have to kind of pay attention to that. And so the decisions made to go out and get pass rushers and really put pressure on the quarterbacks becomes greater emphasis on what those guys are capable of doing, knowing that we have to have, like you said, younger players that come in and to replace the starters that we thought we had.
So you just alluded to it there, Frank, in reference to more pressure, hopefully on the quarterback, more push to protect the young guys. And you may also go more cover two to protect the young guys. So I got to imagine that aggressiveness that you might have had with experienced corners or second, third, fourth year guys has somewhat changed, you believe, as far as the philosophy going into the opening game?
I mean, you have to see what they can handle and what they can handle under pressure from a cornerback standpoint. It would make you want to put more pressure on the quarterback and hope that your defensive line can get to him to kind of to take a little bit of pressure off your secondary. I will say this though, Max Melton and Will Johnson, both of those guys are second round receivers. So they were taken high in the draft. They have some experience, and apparently they were pretty good in college, maybe just not good enough for the first round, or could have been for the first round, give or take depending on what other things happen. But there are some situations where second round draft picks, that have come into the league have been pretty good. And I can name a few just to give me a second. Roger Craig, Dan Deerdorf, Matt Blyer, Willie Lanier, and the guy that's on the phone, Frank Sanders. They were all second round draft picks.
I was just going to say, I know a guy who was a second round draft choice, and we're talking to him right now.
There we go. So it's an opportunity for these guys to really step up. You're talking about a second-round draft pick in Max Melton, a second-round draft pick in Will Johnson. Both of those guys apparently have high draft pick value. They have the skill set to actually come in and play. So hopefully these guys take advantage of this opportunity. That's the most important part about the game of football or any sport at this time. And we always say opportunity. And this is an opportunity for these guys to come out and actually, solidify themselves as starting cornerbacks in the NFL.
All right, Frank, do this for me then so our listeners will understand. The biggest jump playing defensive back, even though you were a star in college, to now playing in the NFL.
Oh, it's definitely much faster. The receivers, typically we don't make mistakes. Like our timing is much faster. The quarterback release point is not waiting to see me open. It's already gone. Like the ball should be out. Manuch will tell you this 100 times, and he tells you guys this all the time. The timing of what a quarterback's supposed to do is never wait to see the guy. He's supposed to anticipate that where he's supposed to be and where that ball is supposed to be to make sure there's a catch and run situation or a catch that will not cause harm to the receiver. So as a defensive back, you're watching a machine that works at a faster pace, and it moves totally different than what a DB does in college. Typically, they have a chance to kind of wait for a quarterback, or they can, just play around, but not in the NFL. The timing routes are much better, much more crisper, and the quarterback's intelligence should be at a much higher IQ where his timing and getting the ball out, it's right where it's supposed to need to be.
And Frank, all that being said, how much more, what do you need to see out of Kyler and Jr., Marv Jr. this year, more so than you saw last year? Is it pumping the ball down the field, more catches, more consistency, more big play? What does Frank Sanders, former second-round pick at Auburn, phenomenal wide receiver, need to see out of this combination?
Just the reps, I think the trust factor is always there. Especially when you have such a Marvin Harrison is, a stud of an athlete. He looks with an imposing presence as a receiver, but you already know what he's capable of doing. And so, but when it comes to the offense and, Kyler, I'm saying trust is the idea of saying, hey, I can raise my hand and tell you I'm running a go route instead of running a hitch. I can tell you I'm running a slant instead of actually running, instead of double moving the guy and running the fade. So that's a trust factor that has to happen. And I think in his second year with Marvinson, we saw him do some good stuff. We saw him do just some good stuff, some great stuff. Run after the catch, big playability, one-hand catches, things of that magnitude. So we know he has those abilities. But when you're second year and you're realizing that how defensive coverages are trying to stop you, Manuch, without a doubt, man, that in itself, once you realize that, it makes the game that much easier. It slows down for your quarterback. You know how to anticipate what the receiver's going to do. How does he handle press man? Is he better off press man than he is off defensive backs? Those things make a difference on what a quarterback feels and how they trust each other. So that to me is is always the biggest jump that I want to see between Kyler and Marvin this year coming up.
So what does that mean? Bigger plays, bigger, longer, 20, 25, 30-yard type plays versus, I don't know, 10 to 15? I mean, are we looking more downfield hits, more home runs?
I'm not going to – I won't limit these guys based upon our offensive coach and what he calls, our offensive coordinator and what he calls. I'm going to give him the opportunity that says, I would love to see 3 to 5 catches, 5 to 7 catches a game, and whatever happens out of that is all athleticism, rhythm, and timing on both of those guys because we know that they can make plays. We know Kyler has a very good arm, and throwing, the comeback, the deep balls, or the corner route, or the post corner, or the drag that's across the football field about 27 yards on the other side of the football field. We know Kyler can make that throw, but I'm not going to limit what they can do. I just want to see more consistency in the fact that we're trying to get the ball to him. He's catching the ball, and then I just want to let his athleticism make it happen. We didn't throw a bunch of deep balls to Larry, but when Larry got the ball, he made things happen. And with consistency, when you give the ball to him, you can watch these guys get a feel of the game, a flow of how defense coverage trying to stop them, and then they can just let their athleticism happen.
So they will begin preseason play next week, Frank. Do you expect to see any of the starters in game 1 or not?
I expect to see the starters at the game. I'm not sure if they're going to play.
Good call.
Wow. Those political classes he's taking are really paying off.
Working off for you, pal.
Well, wouldn't give me a straight answer on Marvin Harrison Jr. And now he says, yeah, the players will be at the game.
They'll be there.
Are you running for office there, big fella?
No, I just based upon the question. We have seen this happen over and over again. And then just look at the situation. They have taken another preseason game away. It was 4, now it's down to 3. And look, injuries will always play a part. No one wants to see a player gets hurt. I would love to see the reputation typically stays the same, which is the first preseason game, the first unit goes out. They give you 12 to 15 plays so they can kind of get a feel. Then the second unit kind of takes over from there the entire game. The second game of the preseason, we always see that the first team comes out, Manuch, and they go out and they give you at least a half or a quarter, and then you just go from there. I think I would love to see them play because I think you need that reps, you need the rotation, you need the ability to see how the players respond to another opponent. But more than likely, they're going to be on the sideline with hot dogs, Skittles, and maybe a couple, something else in their helmet.
Speaking of that, I mean, how much is it for a defensive coordinator to play Will Johnson just enough to get his feet wet in preseason, or Max Melton to get him back up to speed, knowing they're probably going to be your starters? And the Chiefs, they're going to come in here on August 9th, as Jimmy alluded to, and play their first team maybe a quarter.
They will.
How vitally important is that to play them just enough and then somewhat protect them, I guess?
No, I believe, look, Jimmy B knows his match. Jimmy B is watched enough to know that this is the fact. The Chiefs don't play around when it comes to preseason. They come out and they work. They give their first units the reps they want to give them, even to the first quarter is over a second quarter. They will do that with the first team because they believe in that. I believe in JG. I believe JG believes the same thing. I don't think he thinks that we're here. We've arrived at any point that we can pick off anything. I believe those guys are going to play. I don't think there should be a number count when it comes to Will, unless you establish that Will Johnson is your cornerback. He needs the reps, but some of that reps are going to happen in practice or mental reps because you got to protect his body from that standpoint. But I expect to see him play as much as they want him to play because he needs the reps. And he needs to get that. He needs to get his feet under him to realize what the speed of the game looks like. After that, maybe week 2 or 3 of the preseason, you might not give him as many reps, but I want to see him in the first game or 2 really get some reps so he can kind of see what it feels like to be on that island by himself.
Frank, I'll let you go on this one then. In the running back spot, we haven't really talked about it that much because we know James Conner is the guy. But Trey Benson was drafted high, and I'm just curious if you have seen enough of him, and how has he improved if you have, and what do you expect of him this coming season?
Now give us a straight answer. None of this political ease that you've been talking about all day. Straight answer, Frank Sanders.
Look, I'm one of the guys in the locker room. So when you talk about football, I'm speaking from what I actually, you know this already. I'm the guy that want to see the best of everybody. I want to see these guys go out and play. But I do notice here, I watch our offense last year balance out this offense from a standpoint where Kyler was on the center sometimes, and he also was in the shotgun. for the most part. But there was a good balance between Trey Benson as well as James Conner. James Conner was able to tote that thing for over 1,000 yards, and that was great for the Cardinals. I expect to see both of them. I mean, Trey Benson has been a great 1-2 punch. JC has been that guy that can catch the ball out the backfield and then smash mouth it if the Cardinals offense wants to get grimy that day. And I believe Drew Petzing sometimes feel that way. We don't come out and watch them throw the ball deep. They try to run the ball and create this play action pass to the tight end, which we saw the explosion of Trey McBride. I want to see Trey Benson come out and be the guy that we can turn around, give him a quick pitch or a quick flip to the outside and watch him turn the corner. The guy has 4.3 elite speed, not just regular 4.3 speed. He has 4.3 elite speed, sometimes 4.2. I think he'd be a great addition to what he will do this year. That determines on if JC stays healthy and if he gets more reps. If he gets more reps over what JC got last year, I believe he's easily a 1,200 to 1,300 yard running back. You guys remember this name of Michael Pittman and LaShawn Johnson when they got in the game?
Yep.
Both of those guys played for the Cardinals during my time, and both of those guys were hard hitting. But once they got to that crease, they were bullets, man, down the football field. And these guys went from three touches to 125 yards, and I believe Trey Benson has that well within him if he gets the right moment.
Didn't that feel good just to answer it completely open and honest and not dance around the question, Frank? Didn't that feel good?
Look, sometimes when you take those broadcasting classes, they don't allow you just to say yes, no, maybe so, I don't know. You have to expound on just the most simplest answer it is. And so when you do that, you find yourself probably on a radio show with three wonderful guys every Monday.
We thought you were taking tap dancing classes there for a second, periodically, but that was we were tapping once in a while there, bud.
There's nothing wrong with a little Gregory Hines in your life.
Hey, I always like Gregory Hines.
Look at the culture they get over there at Auburn.
Exactly. All right, brothers. Thank you. We'll talk to you next week.
Guys.
Have a good week. Have a good week, Senator. Always nice to talk to you.
Frank is presented today by All City Towing, largest towing company in the state, and a place where you can make a great move if you are looking for a new job. Why do I say that? Because All City Towing is hiring like lot attendants, drivers, customer service professionals, and they have terrific benefits as well as excellent salary. How about top-tier towing equipment, health benefits, a 401k with an employer match, paid life insurance, even a monthly fuel allowance? Take the next step and just go to allcitytowing.com and search careers. Again, allcitytowing.com, search careers. It's All City Towing, where your future is on the move. All right, a quick timeout. When we come back, Lerner and Rowe one call. It's also the results of It's Your Call, brought to you by State 48 Roofing. Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B, ESPN 620 on the FM dial 98.7 HD2.
When hot is not an option, Stay Cool delivers. From patios to warehouses, shops to summer events, Stay Cool's Slim Cool Elite and Cool Cube mobile air coolers bring more air for less money. Rust-free, USA built, backed by over 40 years of cooling expertise. Available now at Home Depot, Lowe's, Ace Hardware, Tractor Supply, and Northern Tool. For more information, go to staycool-products.com. Stay Cool Products. Form, function, value. Get yours today and beat the heat.
Craving a mouth-watering lunch that won't drain your wallet? Rush to Venezia's Pizzeria for daily specials starting at just $8.48. Sink your teeth into 2 giant loaded specialty pizza slices or a massive New York-style slice with a crisp, fresh salad, both with a drink and under $10. Dine in, grab it to go, or hit Venezia's.com. Forget bland fast food. Indulge in bold flavors at Venezia's. 7 Valley locations where family tradition delivers irresistible value. Venezias.com.
At Vans Golf Shops by Worldwide Golf, the new Callaway X-Forged and X-Forged Max irons have arrived. The new forged irons feature single-piece forging for pure responsive feedback and a tri-level sole for superior turf interaction. Swing by Vans Golf Shops to be the first to test drive the new Callaway X-Forged and X-Forged Max irons. Trusted by golfers since 1963 and home of the legendary 90-day satisfaction guarantee. Vans Golf Shops by Worldwide Golf. Get there.
Remember when things were built to last? Well, at Arizona Patio Furniture, we've been handcrafting premium outdoor furniture and custom cushions for over 15 years, right here in Phoenix, using 100% American-made materials. We build it, we sell it, we guarantee it with our exclusive 5-year plus worry-free warranty. Visit any one of our Three Valley showrooms or go to ArizonaPatioFurniture.com. Mention this ad for free delivery and setup in Maricopa County. Arizona Patio Furniture. Some things are still made like they used to be.
My name is Mary Grace. I lost my mom to Alzheimer's in 2017. And 2 months after losing her, my dad was diagnosed. The earlier the diagnosis you have, the more time you have with your loved one. With my dad, now that I know what's coming, I'm able to create memories not only for him, but for myself. Though when he can't remember, I'll remember for him.
For more information, contact us at alz.org or through the 24/7 helpline at 800-272-3900. Sponsored by the Alzheimer's Association.
Leverage your skills and continue pursuing your passions in retirement. By joining AmeriCorps, you can become one of our most valuable partners in Arizona. You'll have the chance to use your experience to support the next generation and contribute to causes that matter most to you. Make giving back your second act. Explore volunteer opportunities and benefits at serve.az.gov. This message is sponsored by the Governor's Office of Youth, Faith, and Family.
It's the Lerner and Rowe one call, that's all call of the day. If you're looking for a full service law firm, just make one call, that's all. 602-977-1900. Lerner and Rowe, voted Arizona's best law firm.
You know, there's been big time competition in that room. You know, I like where the room's trending. I think they're doing a good job, and it's only going to increase right now. You know what I mean? So obviously that you know, the business side of it opens up a spot because Star was going to be on this team. You know, he's played a lot of good football for us. So we're just going to have to develop our guys. Guys are going to have to step up.
That is head coach Jonathan Gannon. All the injuries and the openings that are now available on the Arizona Cardinals. That is indeed our Lerner and Rowe. One call, that's all. Interact, need a check. Just make one call. 602-977-1900. Always at lernerandrowe.com. Once again, Lerner and Rowe. One call, that's all. 602-977-1900. What's on tap? Well, right now it is baseball with the Snakes on the road in Detroit. They have played a half inning, no score. Detroit at the plate. Eduardo Rodriguez is on the mound for the Diamondbacks. That's what's on tap, presented by Roc and Manuch Barstool Brew, the beer built for fans who have seen it all and drank through most of it. It's cold, crisp, commercial-free. It's debuting at Orange Dale Lounge in Scottsdale. Raise a pint, toast the takes, and enjoy the ride. Roc and Manuch, Barstool Brew. Pull up a stool. All right, Manuch, here we go. It is our one. No, it's not our one call. It is our, yes,
State 48
Roofing. One call.
That's right. It's a State 48 Roofing. It's your call
that
question.
Too, yes.
Yeah. Okay, we'll get you squared away there, Jim.
I was talking a lot there.
Yeah. And for a free quote, repair, or installation, head to state48roofing.com and follow them on social media by searching hashtag sexy roof status. How concerned are you now that the Cardinals' two starting quarterbacks, Starling Thomas, as you just heard right there, and Sean Murphy Bunting, are out for the year? Are you highly concerned?
Yes.
Are you slightly concerned? Or are you not concerned at all? Just go to @Roc and Manuch on Twitter or X and vote. So, Connor, which way are the peeps leaning? And by the way, which way did you vote?
So I ended up saying that I'm slightly concerned. The reason for that being anytime you lose two starters, guys who have played significant reps, especially at that position, I think there's a little bit of worry to be had. However, the reason why I say slightly as well is because I kind of trust what you got stepping in. You have two young guys, Max Melton, Will Johnson. Granted, you got to hope all the injuries and things check off, but if they do, I think maybe you're able to have some guys rotate in and keep you alive. It seems like the fans slightly sided with me. We had a 60-40% split. 40% said they were highly concerned. 60% said slightly.
Yeah, I just, there's people are concerned. I mean,
Well, you have to be.
You have to
Yeah.
be. But I think that the one thing about, I guess, the saving grace is Max Melton. You look, he's played a lot last year, second round pick, so it looks like he's going to be pretty much the starter on one side. Sean Murphy-Bunting really hurts this team, him not playing this year. And then Starling Thomas V, I mean, he's really a guy that coming on and starting to see that proverbial light at the end of the tunnel. But the reason why I looked at this and went highly concerned is because it's tough to plug a rookie cornerback in, that being Will Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
Took Max Melton probably an entire season, last 5 or 6 games. He somewhat got his land legs underneath him as far as being a corner in the National Football League. And there's going to have to be some adjustments. And when I say adjustments from the play calling, from the defensive play calling by Nick Rawls as that defensive coordinator. And we're going to catch up with Rob Fredrickson tomorrow, former linebacker for the Raiders and Lions and the Arizona Cardinals. Get his thoughts as a linebacker. That'd be that Mike linebacker,
right?
The guy that makes all the calls. What that might mean for the philosophy of Nick Rawls as the defensive coordinator, maybe not to bring the house once in a while because he's got cornerbacks that he feels he can trust out there on the corner. Now with a rookie corner in the second-year guy, he might have to bring more stunts. He may have to bring more blitzes. He may have to do more with that front side versus going, you know what? I got all the things I need. Wait a second. I got a rookie now, got a second-year guy. Where before you had some experienced guys at the cornerback spot.
Yep.
Do I got to cover them up with a safety now? Do I got to bring more blitzes to put more pressure so that they're not picking on Will Johnson the entire game? Max Melton, yeah, he's got 1 year under his belt, but he's still a young guy. So all of a sudden you were feeling pretty good about your game plan, getting ready for training camp, being in training camp, and getting ready for that opening game against New Orleans and what you can and can't do. So that might change that philosophy a little bit, determining on how well they do or don't do during the preseason. But man, do you not know? It's a whole different game when the live ammo is coming at you in a regular season game.
I'm with you on that, pal, 100%. Right now, bottom of the first inning, Detroit already on the board. It is 1-0. There are 2 outs, and the Tigers have a runner at third base. So already Detroit on the board against Eduardo Rodriguez.
Yeah, I look at Eduardo, and I'll just take a quick peek right now. He's on the bump, with he's already had 19 pitches
in the first inning.
And we saw that with Zach Gallen as well, too, as far as a lot of the pitches in the first inning. So only 1 out and runner on third. And looks like they're going to get another run across for the Detroit Tigers. No,
they're out of the
Fortunately,
inning.
out of the
Out
inning.
of the inning. Manuch, who do we have tomorrow besides
Tomorrow, as I
Rob
mentioned,
Fredrickson?
tomorrow Rob Fredrickson will case up with Jason Mons, tight end coach for the Arizona State Sun Devils, and then Bob McManaman, talking about the Cardinals at training camp.
That's all tomorrow. Hey, guys, Matt, Connor, thank you for putting up with us, especially me. I was mediocre today. Manuch was on his game, as always. I sucked. We will be back here tomorrow, like it or not. And you can always find us. We are streaming on YouTube and always at rockandmanuch.com. Thank you, everybody, for listening. We will see you tomorrow, 1 to 4, right here, ESPN 620.
Hi, Zoe Saldana. Welcome to T-Mobile. Here's your new iPhone 16 Pro on us.
Thanks. And here's my old phone to trade in.
You don't need a trade-in. When you switch to T-Mobile,